it's yours, but still in me. I cannot detox from this condition, conviction. You're inside my misery box. I'm still never free from this addiction, affliction. Now it's yours, but still in me. Cannot detox from this condition, conviction. You're inside my misery box. I don't deserve you. You stay true. I want to save you from my misery. You couldn't save me from my misery. I'm addicted to my misery box. Addicted to my misery box.
It began with the suicide of Charles Blackwell, just days after his 55th birthday. Then the Rhineswan family massacre. 3 generations painfully passing from this world, crying the same crimson tears Blackwell had.
Sit alone on the edge of
5 members of the prominent Rhineswan family were found dead.
After that, the media finally gave their murderer a name. The Red Crier Killer.
Memento mori. Remember, you will die.
Investigators believe the killer may be the same individual the media has dubbed the Red Crier.
Memento mori. Remember, you will die. I know it's droll to sell my soul. I wanted to protect them though, but I couldn't even play my role. Now vengeance is my only goal. Memento mori. Too late for sorry. Now goodbye. Breath goes dry. I will cry when I remember you will die.
And good morning, best chat. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to episode delicious, malicious morning nonsense chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You got a wonderful Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and now a fantastic Thursday chat. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Hello to you. Carly says, good morning, LD and best chat. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello to the Jibber Jabberwocky says, good morning, Satan. Hello to Jibber Jabberwocky. Good morning, good morning. It's your chat. Gorilla Mars says, good morning, everyone. Don't forget to get your workouts in today. Hello to you, Gorilla Mar. Good morning, good morning. Dracon Demigod says, good morning, LD and best chat. Although Penelope was faithful, Odysseus wasn't. The same vice versa. He slept with Cersei 3 times. First time was to free his men, and the other. Well, you know, he had to free his men. The other two was just for fun. Well, I mean, that's kind of that's the main thing, though. It's a little bit different. I mean, yeah, should they by today's standards be faithful to each other? Yeah, but you think the Odysseus is the whole thing with Odysseus is that he remained faithful to his wife and his heart. I think that here's the main thing, the main morality of these men and women. Women, their whole thing is to choose. And that's kind of, they're the ones that say no. And that's what Penelope did. As a faithful wife, she said no to these men. And so her whole thing is chastity. That is a woman's main one of her largest morals is chastity, and choosing, or virtues, is maintaining that her chastity and choosing the right guy. So there's way more of an emphasis, even in sublogic, subconscious, for a woman to maintain faithfulness to her husband by not sleeping with men, versus Odysseus, who he had to it was the thing is, it was fine, it was more, I guess, on lines of accept, maybe it wasn't fine, but it was acceptable, or it's more acceptable for Odysseus to do that, because there are we have a history of harems and things. So obviously it's not as important, even for women, for men to be faithful that way, as it is for women to be faithful that way. So a man needs to be faithful in terms of, like, is he willing to protect her, to die for her, his whole thing is, I'm getting back home. I don't care. I'm not staying with you, Cersei. I'm getting back home to my wife. So it's a little bit different. So that's kind of why people kind of like the still end up liking Odysseus and the story of the Odyssey, because is it the same? No, it's not the same. It's not the same. I'm not even sure it's an unfortunately, but it is how it works in human psychology. And the virtue of, I mean, you can look at other stories like this. The virtue of a woman is choosing the right man, is maintaining chastity, things like that. There's the whole story with Zeus chasing down this woman who decided to, like, turn into a tree, I think, rather than rather than sleep with Zeus or be raped by him. Things like that. So it's not really as hard hitting on men to remain, physically faithful to his wife as it is on the wife to remain physically faithful to her husband. So Penelope was faithful, and the reason why they can maintain Odysseus as a good guy in these circumstances is because he maintained faithfulness to his wife in his heart and fought tooth and nail to get home back to her. He might have slipped up a few times with Cersei and the other people that he ended up going to bed with, but I don't know. It's a big discussion sometimes, I guess, but psychologically wise, people tend to be fine with it, right? It's like, oh, Odysseus is evil because he betrayed his wife. Like that doesn't really happen. Doesn't really come to the conclusion. I mean, it is a factor that happens though, in the story, that he is not as physically faithful to his wife as she is physically faithful to him. But he is faithful to her in his heart. He fights for 10 years to get back to her. I think that's kind of why people were like, okay, that's fine. But again, it's a factor that men don't really, it's not really as important that men maintain that physical faithfulness as women, as it is important for women, because they're the ones that, they're the ones that have the children. They're the ones that will just sleep with anything. It's why they have harems and stuff. That's why it's as Stu says on a few days ago, you don't actually need a lot of men. It's kind of why it's part of that. You don't really need a lot of men to restart a population. You do, however, need a lot of women. It's important. It's why men are more expendable, I think. But yeah, it depends on how you see it and everything, I suppose. But yeah, was he faithful? Was he physically faithful to Penelope? No, he slept with several other women, I think. But the psychology is a little bit different. This deep in our subconscious, it's a little bit different. Like, you might think it's bad, but deep down, it's like, it's a lot easier to forgive someone like Odysseus for betraying the faithfulness to his wife than it would be to forgive Penelope for doing so. And this kind of comes up again in the Oresteia. I think it comes to the beginning with the Oresteia thing, where if I remember correctly, Agamemnon's wife betrays him, right? I think she has like another lover while he's gone, and they end up killing both Agamemnon and Cassandra, both of them. And that's kind of what ends up with the Oresteia, with the Oresteia happening, where Orestes comes with the son of Agamemnon, comes in to get revenge on his mother. So he kills his mother at the very least, and that's what gets the Furies going after him and everything. So in antiquity, it really in general, it really isn't as impressed upon a man to remain physically faithful to his wife. But it's not really like they can do whatever they want. I don't think so either. But yeah, it is a different standard, I suppose. But it is the standard that exists, I suppose, in Greek mythology. Like Zeus is constantly cheating on his wife, right? But Hera is not really sleeping with a bunch of dudes, that sort of thing. And see, Carter Catchers, good morning, best chat. Things are starting to get warm in my area lately. Finally, up to the 60-degree F during the morning. It's getting a little warmer. It's getting close to that summertime. Hudson Bomb, hello to you, Hudson Bomb. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And see your chat. Okay, so the new God of War game is getting roasted. Even the original God of War creator doesn't even like it. Wow, that's saying something, because didn't he go super duper woke or something? Didn't the original creator go super woke? So there's a whole thing about how the later God of War games are kind of woke. I didn't play them, but that was a big discussion. Like, are they woke? Are they not? Because it's a much softer Kratos, but then again, it is an older, wiser Kratos. Even the original God creator, but yeah, because the new one is about like his wife or something, right? I have something on that. You're saying strikes again, and you're saying strikes again. No one is woke when it comes to. Oh yeah. By saying strikes again, no one is woke when it comes to something they care about. Yeah, his thing is, a God of War creator. He might be more woke or whatever, but there's no doubt that he cares about the franchise God of War, because that's his creation. He still has to love it. But when it comes down to it, they're just ravaging it now by making like a game about Kratos' wife or something. And of course, it can't be like a feminine story. It has to be that she's a badass too, and she's probably more badass than he ever was, and things like that. It has to be that she's a warrior and way cooler than him or something, more than likely. It can't be that Kratos was the warrior, then she was like the supportive, faithful wife. It couldn't be that. She's a badass too. It's like, what? But it's like everyone's getting in on it. It's pretty funny. Like, here's Domino's Pizza coming in. God of War with no Kratos is like pepperoni passion with no pepperoni. Is pretty true. Get him Pizza Hut. Get him Pizza Hut. No, Domino's. Get him Domino's. Domino's coming in roasting the game. Like it cooks pizzas. Tank Ferret says, good morning to all of you magnificent bastards and bastards. Hello to you, Tank Ferret. Good morning. Steve says, good morning, LD. God bless, best chat and LD. I keep seeing this stuff about Lego situation thing, but I have no idea what's going on. I love my Legos, so am I safe? Yes, it is a weird situation concerning a huge Lego collection. a really really huge Lego collection worth like $207,000, and how the store cheated the owner out of the collection. It's kind of like they cheated him out of it. So I don't know. People have been going over it. I found or you guys let me know about a video by Legal Mindset, and we'll go over that today. So it'll be pretty fun. Morning. It's 14:05 in the UK time. Well, it's today. We're Morning Nonsense goes by American time. America. Do you want to catch us? Good morning, Live best chat and Rumble chat. Hello to you, Connor Ketchell from Rumble. Come over to Rumble. We have delicious cookies and slurs. Have you been saying lots of slurs? Shout out Intronics. Good morning to you. Morning all. What happened to girly villains? The same thing that happened to girly characters in general. They got testosterone boosters and declared femininity a bad thing. Yeah, just ashamed of their femininity, which is very strange. Very strange. Very strange development. Let's see. Morning chat and LD in chat. Speaking of Lego, the fact that plastic blocks have cost rivaling exceeding both Warhammer and minis and Gunpla Gundam models, in case you didn't know, is truly insane. They're made out of gold. I'm pretty sure they might be worth more than gold. The Lego blocks, pretty sure, especially if they're old stuff. Let's see. 1 second here, chat. All right. Megathos is a Morrow LD. Hello, morning LD. Best chat. Bad news. My WoW raid didn't happen. Low attendance. Well, that sucks. But I had a recommend video for the original Fast and Furious. That's pretty cool. So I pulled out my LDVD and watched it. Glad I did. TFT. Too Fast, Too Furious Tonight. Nice, very nice. It's a really good franchise. It's crazy. It's wackadoo, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And see. But good choice. Good choice. Shady Andrew says, "Good morning, all. Enjoying our nice weather here before we have thunderstorms for the next week. I've been having them like all week. It's almost nonstop. Like it just rained yesterday too. Let's see. Lady Fastla says, "Good morning, LD and chat. Hello to you, Lady Fastla. I'm hearing conflicting opinions of the new He-Man movie. Has anyone seen it? Apparently, Shad likes it. I didn't see the video, but he has like the thumbnail says it's brilliant. But we'll check it out. Check it out." Posthumous, hello to you, salute LD and superb chat. Hello to you, Posthumous. Good morning, good morning. Aluminum Fences, praise be to LD. Best chat, of course, Space King. Pens and Poison. Just put out a video about why publishers make all the new books look the same. Interesting. Oh wait, I think someone said that to me. Hold on, someone that reminds me. Yeah, Pens and Poison. Pens and Poison. Let me see here. I think someone mentioned that. 1 second here. Pens and Poison. Here it is. Yeah, this channel. Where every novel. Yeah, we can check this out. Should be pretty fun. Stuff stacked up here, Jack. Got a lot of stuff to go over. Where is it? I found this other one here. Where did it go? Anyway, I'll find that again in a little bit. But I got that one up now. Carlos says, "Good morning, LD and best shared best guests." So Loti Carlos, good morning. And Faye says, "Also, please tell me Texas won't elect Loti Tallarico." I don't know. I hope not. I hope not. I don't know. Texas seemed to be going more to the right, in fact. So I hope not. Because we dumped one of our rhinos. Like we primaried one of our rhinos, which was I think the Corin. I think we got rid of him. So it looks like we're going more towards the based side of things. Abragione takes one elect Loti Tallarico. I mean, I really hope not. Abragione. Good morning. Hello to you. It's a Dr. E. Ronnie the Fourth says, "Good morning, LD and Best Chat. Yesterday I did a full shift in the hospital, so today I have a day off and a longer weekend." Oh, nice. You deserve a day off, Dr. E. Ronnie the Fourth. Fantastic news. Get that day off. Dr. Crow says, "Free his seamen." Exactly. Also, anyone saw the Summer Game Fest? Is there anything besides? Oh, yeah. I could check that out. Go check that out. And it's right. That's how it's supposed to be. One dude, multiple chicks. So how much to make LD watch Odyssey in IMAX? At IMAX? I have to like travel elsewhere, I think. The IMAX theaters are pretty rare. Let's see. Yeah, I know it's what the Manosphere says, but I mean it's history. It's history. It's always been kind of acceptable. Not really, but like that's kind of it's been more acceptable for like the man to have multiple women than I mean it's almost impossible the other way around. But that's just how it goes. It's kind of I mean I don't know what else to tell you. Like reading stories from across time and around cultures is something you have to. There's some things you just kind of have to acknowledge. You don't have to accept it, I guess, but you could just kind of have to acknowledge it. That especially back then, it's way more acceptable for a man to have multiple women than a woman to have multiple men. But women aren't also expected to go die and stuff like that. So I guess it's a little exchange there. But that's how it goes. It's how it goes. I mean, look at a lot of Greek stories will have the same kind of ideas in it. Let's see. Translitev. Men are mainly about spreading their genes. Yeah, it's like that's kind of what's supposed to be, or it's meant to be. That's why it's like usually a guy with a large harem of women, and why even today, right? Even today, people and men are complaining about this, but it's that whole what's it called? Someone mentioned like coeflation or whatever. Even today, this is more desirable to American women, at least, like the ones that have been interviewed into the thought side, I guess, where they don't want to be with a regular man. They rather be, and this is today. they admit that they rather be like the eighth wife of Brad Pitt, for example, rather than be the one and only wife of Joe Blow, a regular man. That's what the American women, I guess, inflation side. So, or hoflation side, I guess you could say. I don't know what the terminology is, but they've interviewed these women, a lot of these women, and they're like, yeah, they much rather be the 8th or 9th wife of Brad Pitt, a rich, handsome guy, than the one and only wife of Joe Blow. So it's in the psychology. So regardless of whether like the manosphere says it or not, it tends to be true. It tends to be true. So it's always kind of been there. However, it is preferable, to have like this the nuclear family. That's kind of why today's ethics are a little bit conflicting with the ethics of antiquity in that regard. And Chris says, "Oh, we're going to go to Legos. Will you enjoy the shenanigans?" I guess you will. We're going to see what's going on over there. Let's see. Was it Apollo? I read it was Zeus. It was Zeus. And see, or maybe I was getting those mixed up. But yeah, I do know like this one girl was running away from the god, and she'd rather keep her chastity and turn into a tree rather than be violated by him. Let's see. Yeah, but yeah, just it's Odysseus is, at the end of the day, Odysseus is just a man, so he's going up against Circe and Calypso, who are like these sorceresses and stuff like that. So it's a pretty tough fight. Lady Fastball says that was Apollo and Daphne. Was that was it? Okay, it was Apollo, the nymph. Yeah, but she rather have had she rather have turned to that tree rather than be with Zeus or Apollo. T. Borlin says, "Good morning, Eldine Beshot. Listen to Mead with Tom and Andre last night. They said it's horrible and woke." There are some really mixed reviews on this thing. Instagram says, "Good morning, Eldine Beshot. Good morning to you. Inspect Vim. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. E-Trans and Litdev. Women's fertility has an expiration date. Yeah, men's doesn't. I don't think, but that's usually how it's supposed. It was in antiquity. I don't know what to tell you. It's just, you can see it in the stories, you can see it in their perspectives, you can see it in how society is operated. It was just it was more acceptable for a man to have multiple wives, but it was there's a lot of emphasis on women not being, and they kept each other in check. I mean, how many times have you heard like a woman sleep around, or the rumor of it, right? The rumor of a woman sleeping around, like in high school, right? In the high school movie, that it's not just a rumor that's not a rumor that really hits hard with men, right? Because the men would like that, but usually it's the other women. The other women kind of punish a loose woman with that title. The other women will call her hoe or a slut. It's like that. So it's ingrained in our minds. All just since the beginning, I guess, for at least for thousands of years now. But that's why you see as the drive-in. If it sucks, you can still go to the drive-in and pay half as much. Then she says, "Good morning, Aldine Best Chat from Vietnam. These Mormons hogging the Lego thieves was not on my bingo card when the Mormons got involved." It gets crazy. Like, so they have to flee to Mexico. The Mormons got involved. When I left on vacation to Japan last week. Hello to you, Venetia. Good morning. Good morning. And Salif says, "I wouldn't be that person. Odysseus was a Greek, as in Old Testament. The faithful monogamous couples mostly, it's mostly like a more modern thing, brought in by Christianity. Some 1,000 years later, monogamy was still rare until later. Yeah, usually it wasn't. Monogamy wasn't really like the thing, the main thing. I mean, there was monogamy, I guess, but more in the more Western culture still, but it wasn't as important or as emphasized until later. It's like more of a modern thing." Let's see your chat. Where are we now? Part 2. Odysseus was considered quite faithful. The only other mythical man of equal caliber was Hector of Troy, I think. Yeah, because he didn't really cheat on his wife. He wasn't womanizing. He was kind of like when he slept with other women, it was like Circe and Calypso and stuff. And we do know in the story that it's, even for a great man like Odysseus, it's tough to reject these these alluring factors, because there's that one moment where he ties himself to the mast so he can hear the siren song. Even he cannot resist a siren song. It's too beautiful, and he would go drown himself in the sea if not for the ropes tying him to the mast. So it's kind of like, he does have that weakness. The story does say that he has that weakness. And Tank Ferret says, "Gotta bounce, carpe diem, and stay magnificent, everyone." Hello to Tank Ferret. You as well. You as well. Right now, Gunblade Knight says, "Good morning, Aldine. Best chat. Praise be to Space King. Hello to you, Gunblade Knight." Megathon says, "As amateur as harem writer, I see no issues." There is good morning, everyone. Hello to Type Press. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Great Night says, "Good morning. Let's have a best chat. What's happening so far? Not much yet. Not much yet." And see, Trace Litep react to her Hermaphrodites, the son of Hermes and Aphrodite. Hermaphrodites should be interesting. Should be interesting. Let's see. I think we got everyone. Fantastic. He spent no, he did spent 10 years he spent 10 years getting home. That was it. I think he might spend a year or so. I forgot how long. He did spend a significant amount of time with her, but the maximum amount of time he spent was 10 years, I think. He spent 10 years fighting in Troy and like 10 years getting home because he was being punished. Mind you, like Odysseus had such a hard time getting home because he was being punished by the gods already. Yeah, it's taking a while. The next Space King was taking a while. But anyway, chat. Anyway, here we go. So, like, yeah, just God of War. It's about, I think, about Kratos' wife, and she's also badass. Like, Kratos was really like this insane level warrior. So, like, his wife also being able to do all this stuff too is like, okay, well, I guess he wasn't that great of a warrior after all. He's like, apparently anyone could do this stuff. Anyone could have, like, everybody has this level of strength, I guess. And see. Anyway, there we go, chat. But it is kind of funny that Domino's is like God of War game with no Kratos, is like pepperoni patch with no pepperoni. Can't just let the man be awesome. Can't just like, okay, the wife is the wife. She doesn't have to be as awesome as he is. All right, it's more that power dynamic stuff. But anyway, Chad, here we go. Bricks and minifigs disaster. A lawyer explains. Here are legal minds to check it out.
Today, we're going brick by brick as we analyze the bricks and minifigs case and all of the law and crimes involved in this. Of course, this is the legal mindset where we teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney. Now, this is something that has slammed my inbox, and there are so many legal questions, different areas of both civil law, criminal law, regulatory law, that I found this very fascinating, but it took me some time to put together this analysis. But this could not possibly be more perfect down my wheelhouse, as a corporate attorney, I dealt with pretty much all of these issues. This is a content creator, Reckless Ben, who decided to take on the company of Bricks and Minifigs, which is a company selling Legos. Now, how this breaks down is essentially there was a consignment agreement with one Brian Mansell and the former franchise owner of a local branch, a local franchise of Bricks and Minifigs. And for those that don't know, franchises are not owned by the corporation. So as a corporate attorney, one thing we constantly would say, one thing that is very much true, is you will constantly shift the blame between corporate and the franchise. The corporation will say it's always the franchise fault, right? That's something you have to talk to the franchise owner, and the franchise owner will say, take it up with corporate. That's a corporate issue. That's in our contract, etc. So that game of back and forth is very, very, very much tried and true here. And we see that play out in this case.
Finally, she gave me an answer of
Shaman King. The axe that Kratos uses originally belonged to Faye, so her being strong isn't weird. Everything else, however, yeah, but when was that lore added in? Like, right, the axe that he has. First of all, when was that lore added in? Second of all, was it added in from the beginning of Kratos' lore, or was it added in just for like the more modern games that became more socially aware? And second of all, it didn't have to make it Faye's axe, right? They could have made it like where she made it for him, because I think that's kind of what the tradition is. Like the woman will keep the axe, will keep the weapon. She might even make the weapon, But I think I could have felt like I didn't really remember any of that lore being how his wife was a badass too, being in there until the more modern God of War games kept in. Was it, so it wasn't always hers? No, I mean, when did the axe come in? The axe thing. When that, because I know he has the axe in the more modern games. So was Kratos' wife always like this insane love of bad? I know she was also a Spartan, and Spartan women did know how to fight, technically speaking, in history. But I didn't know they're going to make her this level of badass, where she's like just this Kratos, she's female Kratos. Let's see. I know the axe. But how long ago was that other game where he's like in where he's in the land of the Norse gods? Yeah, I'm talking about like, was Kratos' wife always a badass ever since the first game, or the second game, third game, something like that? Was that there too before the Dark Times? Like, before was Kratos' wife being a badass added in before or after 2015? Because let's see here, Chad. No, wait a minute. What was his wife's name again? Let's see. Hold on. Where is it? Get this. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. So let me see here. What was his wife's name? Was his wife's name Laufey? His wife's name is Laufey. Okay. So wait a minute. So I thought that was weird. I was thinking that his name was his wife's name was Faye. Like, that's kind of a weird name for a Greek lady. But let's see. But then the axe that Kratos uses originally belonged to Faye, so her being strong isn't weird. Everything else, however. So yeah. So if it's wait a minute. I thought the main character of the new game was his wife. Is that his wife? So okay, it's his second wife. Okay, okay, second wife. Okay, I didn't know he took another wife. I didn't see those. I didn't see that part of the game. But that makes more sense. If it's like this Norse awesome lady, I guess. Like, so I mean, he would, his second wife. That makes sense. I thought they were making like this new person, his other wife. Like, they're gonna make like a story about his other wife, his old wife, his first wife, because it says God of War Laufey. I don't know his wife's actual name, so I was like, is this about his wife? And yeah, it is about his wife, but not the original wife, his new wife. This makes sense because she's a Norse lady, and that's kind of their warriors too. Let's see, fake wife. So is she a shield maiden? That makes sense. She's a frost giant. It's a frost giant. Oh, that's badass. Okay, that makes a little more sense. It's the Illumin Fences. I thought the mighty axe was a weapon of Valhallan, whom, along with the infatigable Krunk and Major Glory, comprising. So the new wife is the badass. Well, it makes sense because it's a Norse wife, and she would have a sword and axe and everything. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Is that they hold the shield maiden tradition? That makes sense. So it didn't say Faye though. It said Laufey, the God of War Laufey. Let's see. LD, watch Playframe's playthrough of the Norse God of War games. I still have an original Greek game period. And the original games are pretty fun too. I know Kratos kills for his wife, but I thought it might have been like a thing where they went back in time and showed her thing, or maybe she came back to life. I don't know. She can come back to life. I mean, Kratos has come back to life like 4 million times. Let's see. Kyle Vampire God says LD Kratos' first wife and daughter ashes are bonded to his skin. Ares tricked him into killing them. Yeah, but like, doesn't really matter, right? Doesn't really. They could be the body's ashes are in his skin, but they can like resurrect his spirit or something like that. I could totally see that happening. Especially after Hades is. Wait, did he ever kill Hades? I forgot if he killed Hades or not. But after, it's totally possible for a spirit to come back and maybe she got like a new body or something like that. I don't know. But it could be possible. But just because she's dead does not mean she's gone, right? Is Kratos has come back to life. I'm not gonna see even if Kratos lost his body, I could see him come back to life and getting a new body or something. And see. But I just know all the feminists were complaining that men could not relate to a woman's story, which is nonsense. It's really about the idea that the God of War is Kratos's franchise. It's not really anyone else's. Even if it's like, and history has proven that even if they swapped out main characters from male to male, it still wouldn't be very popular. This is because this would happen with the God of Metal Gear Solid, right? So what happened to Metal Gear Solid? They remember this Metal Gear Solid, I think what was it 2, where they switched out to Raiden, and everyone hated him. So it's not really like a thing about it's a woman. I hate women. I don't want women doing. It was not that part. It's not really that. It's the fact that this is Kratos' game. All right, this is why are we replacing Kratos? Same thing with Metal Gear Solid. I mean, people I don't even sure people came to like Raiden. I'm not sure how much people like Raiden, and not until it became a cyborg breakdancing ninja. Even then, it was kind of crazy. But people were, a lot of people were rejecting it. They don't really like it because it is Kratos' game. Of course, the feminists are saying this is men are evil and lack empathy and they can't relate to a woman's plight. But this isn't really a woman's story. It's more of a masculine story. It's more a feminine. It's more of a masculine story as opposed to a feminine story because it's just Kratos but a girl. That's what it looks like so far. But yeah, it's Kratos' game, so people are going to be resistant to a switching of the main character. It's happened historically. Alexei looks at the $5 super chat. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. It's here. Yes. Let's see. Shoru doesn't matter. Alexei says, Shoru doesn't matter copying the axes. They belong to me now. Isn't it like a Gilgamesh kind of thing? Isn't it a Gilgamesh thing? Because I know Gilgamesh has like all of the weapons in his storehouse. And say, dude, one of my favorite movies is Ghost World. I don't remember being an 18-year-old girl. Yeah, it's not really about like they like to spin this assertion that men are just cavemen and we can't relate to. So they put that emphasis on relatability on us. So it's like we don't like a female main character in this franchise because we can't relate to her because we are not women. And of course, women can relate to men, but they have expressed that men cannot relate to women, which is absolute nonsense. It's just the fact that a lot of these women in these modern day shows are terrible. They're terribly written. They're just insufferable girl bosses. That's why people don't like them. It's not just men who don't like them. People don't like them. Like Captain Marvel, no one liked this character. Like no one really does. We didn't even want to bring her back. And if she was organically popular, and not popular because they stuck her movie between two gigantic installments of the franchise, Infinity War and Endgame, then you would think the Marvels would have done better or well. But yeah, they have this whole thing about men not being able to relate to women because we are just emotionless husks or whatever. But no, it's not the case. There will always be resistance when you switch out the main character to a franchise that is established who the main character is. You don't just get a free pass because she's a woman now. You just don't. And see, Harvey says people didn't like Nero people didn't like Nero. He looks exactly like Dante. But it came out and the reboot happened afterwards. People were happy seeing Nero again, and when DMC 5 came out because Nero turned out to be pretty interesting overall. He was just like a new Dante, but a little bit different. Same edgy personality, but also he was faithfully in love. It's the Edgelord says they don't want to admit that they're replacing Kratos. They are replacing Kratos. This is it just feels like another moment of replacing the main character with a female main character, which we've seen happen time and time again. No Tronics, if you've been following it, this is the mainline entry to the franchise. And see, so yeah, I mean, it's like a pretty, their usual standard developed game, pretty good stuff. It's just we're the strange. They're replacing Kratos. They're replacing Kratos. Alex Halo looks at the $5 super chat. Yes. Thank you much, Alex. Taylor says, sure, magic is copying weapons, which is how he beat Gilgamesh. And the fact that Gilgamesh didn't train with any, I guess it is true. He kind of just throws them at people. That's why he's an archer. He didn't train with any of these weapons. He just throws like hordes and hordes, like just a raining down of legendary weapons at you, which I guess, it's still pretty effective, but doesn't necessarily mean he trained with them all. Let's see here. All right. There we go. And then up, up, down, down. Looks at $10 super chat. Oh my god! All right. Let's see here. 1 second. Up and down, down to $10 super chat says, hail, lit to have gainfully employed again. So have some credits. Well, thank you very much. Up, up, down, down. Very cool. Thank you very much. Up, up, down, down. And congratulations. Congratulations on being employed once again. Very cool. Fantastic, in fact. And see. We got all this together. Let's go.
Why she can't help me.
He's been supposed to be getting a hold of corporate.
Basically, what the manager's saying is that if someone did steal the Legos, it wasn't her, it was corporate. And this was corporate's side of the story.
You have to talk to the store owner.
Now, this all really goes down to what a consignment is, and really that's what you need to understand here. So a consignment is essentially when one person is holding something on behalf of somebody else. In this case, it was over $200,000. That's the disputed value. Now, Bricks and Minifigs, the franchise owners, they dispute that number, but the Mancells, Reckless Ben, their number is 200K. So let's go with the higher number. So a lot of Star Wars Legos were very valuable. Now, consignments are what's called a security interest, and those are regulated by the Uniform Commercial Code, which has been adopted in Oregon. Under that code, the property remains under the superior title, meaning the ownership of the consignor, so the person that signed it over, even though it's being held by another person. The problem with this is the telltale maxim, possession is 9/10 of the law. So even though there's this agreement, the physical product is being held by somebody else. So you have to wonder what they're going to do with that product. And in this case, something very, very wrong did indeed happen.
Almost mockingly, they've since flooded all of their social media with tons of pictures of Star Wars Legos. At this point, it seems like they're just rubbing it in this family's face.
So what likely happened here, which is something that Ben's videos don't make clear, is that after this consignment was made, essentially they quickly sold off that property to make cash. And once they made that cash, they either used that for operating expenses because the store wasn't making enough money. A lot of times stores will just make money on one high ticket item or one thing that sells well. And that's really what's keeping them afloat. They're really not making a lot of money. So, hey, they go and liquidate this inventory, these Star Wars Legos, because, hey, they belong to really somebody else and they're not going to come after us right away.
Let's see. Alex Taylor looks at the $5. Thank you very much. People didn't like being bait, switch, and fate. Oh, wait, hold on. People didn't like being bait and switch in Fate, where they made you think Saber was the main character, but it was Nero Claudius instead of the game. Oh, right, because Nero looks like Saber, like exactly like Saber. That makes sense. Yeah, people don't like it when you switch out the main character on them. They don't. It's never been something people kind of willingly accepted. They might accept it later or another time, but they're going to be resistant to it at first, and it better be good too. Like it better be a good installment. It better be a good. There may be a good reason why you're switching up the main character to this, the new installment in the franchise.
And they may not have the resources, so we may be able to strong arm them. So they sell those off quickly, take the cash, and essentially flee. But essentially, those Legos are mostly gone, and they've likely taken the profits from those Legos already. And the whole purpose of Ben's video, which is to get the Legos back, is likely never going to happen because those Legos are likely mostly gone and sold off for cash. That's a lot of times what will happen in these agreements, particularly when you have a party with more power, like a larger corporation or even a small business versus an individual. They can feel like, hey, you're not actually going to take me to court on this, and we're going to get away with this.
And the guy just looks at me, crosses his arms, and goes, let me tell you what's going to happen. If we go to court, We're gonna drag this thing out.
Here's the big part. We're like, yeah, we know, we took it, but if we go to court, you want to sue us? Let's go to court. If you go to court, I'm going to drain you dry for probably more than what the Legos are worth. Which is interesting because they would also have court costs too. Like, why is it really about the money at that point? Because it's like you're going to lose money too. So is it really worth it for anybody to have? It's like it feels more along the lines of we just want this collection as our own. That's what it feels like. Like, we just want to own this collection. Like, we don't really care about the money aspect. We just want to own this collection because, like, it's all. I think what I've heard is it's all like really vintage stuff they don't really make anymore. That's kind of part why it's so expensive.
So long, and you're gonna end up spending so much more money than your collection is ever worth or what you ever would have gotten out of it.
So, despite retaining superior title, they took those away from them. Now, the franchise owner had several arguments here related to the consignment. First of all, they said, hey, we're going to keep these as store property because this consignment was illegal. We're not allowed to do consignments based on our corporate contract. Well, that's a whole separate problem. And that would also put the people that originally engaged in that on the hook with individual liability because they would have entered into an illegal contract, right? So that would have been on them for breach of contract, unjust enrichment, conversion. These are all civil claims. And by the way, I want to correct Reckless Ben. Throughout his video, he constantly uses civil crime and criminal crime. There's no such thing as a civil crime. That's not a thing. There's a civil claim, right? A civil
Let's see, Norman, thanks for $10 super chat. Thank you very much, Norman. Appreciate it. Let me see here. Here we go. For a franchise to change characters each series, it needs to be established early on that the series has a theme concept that should go beyond the first MC, which is as with Gundam. Also work with, like, Jonathan Joestar, the JoJo series, and it worked with Doctor Who, where they kind of made the idea where, okay, you're gonna have a different main character, but in Doctor Who's sense, I guess it kind of is the same guy, just regenerated into a new actor. But yeah, if you establish it early that the main character is going to change, then yeah, they're going to be a lot more receptive. But if you have like a installment, you very well establish the main character to be this one guy. It's going to be a little bit difficult to then switch over to Raiden, for example. I think that they may be able to do it again with Metal Gear Solid because the main character, I think, in the first one was like essentially Liquid Snake. Then you had to fight Big Boss, right? No, Solid Snake. The main character was essentially Solid Snake. They had to fight Big Boss, who turned out to be like the original guy you're a clone from. And then when they switch over to Metal Gear Solid 3, you get to play as essentially the first guy, the Big Boss guy, who is essentially the same guy. So are you playing two different characters? Yes. And it's very important. They're very importantly that they are two different characters, but it's the same guy because Solid Snake is a clone of Naked Snake. So I don't think that's why there wasn't too many issues there. But yeah, when they switched over to Raiden, that was an issue.
Claim is a claim for money, a claim for damages, but it's not a crime. If you are guilty of found to have liability in civil court, they find you guilty in civil court, you're liable for money, but that does not make you a criminal. And this is very important, particularly for Ben, because he uses this word recklessly, dare I say, as in his name, which may put him on the hook for defamation. He repeatedly calls people using criminal language interchangeably with civil language, and that's a problem because when you accuse somebody of a crime, that can be defamatory, and that may put Ben on the hook for defamation for continually using criminal language. Now, the other thing that the franchise owners tried to get off the hook with was saying they're not aware of the consignment, but in Ben's own videos, we saw them eventually confess to this.
When Brian first came in, we identified anything that was on that list that would have been his that Amanda didn't sell, and we set it aside. And it's still sitting there. We're happy to give you your stuff back.
Next is really the thing that they should have done with.
And to the fact this is I guess Mormons have to prove they aren't pushover marshmallows as of now that multiple high-profile crimes happen on their turf. Example, Charlie Kirk's murder, now Lego. Yeah, man, it's a lot of stuff happening. But this is a crazy case, and it's kind of weird. It's kind of funny that the Mormons are getting involved. Like Mormons are involved. This is an insane case.
This, which is go after them for conversion, breach of contract, and unjust enrichment. Now, I know they make a big point of going to court is expensive, but what they don't mention, and my first thought, and the thought of almost all the lawyers that I talked to on this, when I talked to my colleagues on this, was find somebody who will work on contingency. Contingency means a percentage of the recovery. There are plenty of lawyers out there, in fact, I know many of them, that will take these cases based on a percentage of recovery, especially if there's strong backup, there's strong evidence to back this up and say, yeah, no, this is a good claim. We're going to take this. We're not going to require a massive retainer, and we're going to take a percentage of the return, right? Now, you might have to pay out 30% of the return, whatever, 25% of the return, some higher percent. But hey, they're willing to take the case, and you're willing to get a good portion of your money back from this eventual W. There's other issues that were brought up in this, and these are ones that Ben created himself. The first one is Ben's sham contract. Now, Ben himself eventually admits this is not a legal contract, but Ben tried to put together a contract that said that they could not trespass him from the property, and for every time they called the police, they owed him $5,000.
I made a contract with Amanda that says I, Ben Schneider, should not be trespassed in all of these legal words for any circumstance whatsoever and for literally any reason, including a clause that says for every police officer she calls on me, she owes me $5,000.
Whoa.
Now, this is completely unenforceable 100%. You cannot have a contract executed by deception. And using a routine package delivery to get a signature doesn't work, because that's what we call fraud in the inducement. You're inducing someone, you're tricking someone into a contract. There is no mutual assent. Now, once again, he brings up this duty to read law, but that doesn't apply at all for something where you have no idea you're signing a contract. You think you're signing for a delivery and you're actually signing a contract. There's no mutual assent, mutual agreement that, hey, we're entering into a contract here. You are tricking somebody. So no, that does not work at all. The other thing is terms in there like you can't call the police, you can't trespass. Those are both unconscionable and they cannot be contracted. You can never have a contract ever. And I've written thousands and thousands of contracts as a corporate attorney. It's something I am probably the master at writing contracts. There's no way to get immunity from crimes. Trust me, people. If we could contract out of crimes, lawyers would do it in a heartbeat, but you cannot.
Yeah, so there's this thing, right? It is this haunted house, or the most haunted house in the United States. It's legendary. Was it called? Let's see here. Let's see here. What is it called? I forgot what it was called. But it was like run by this guy, and he has to you have to like sign this contract, and it's like a huge contract, and it's like they could do whatever they want to, essentially, where they could pull out your teeth if they want to, and it kind of shopped around as insane. Really intense and insane. What's his name? Wendigoon. Wendigoon covered it. Wendigoon covered it at one point. So, but he went over the published contract, or someone leaked the contract and they went over it. It's like, yeah, there's stuff in there like it's like you're exempt from murder, or something like that. Where he's like, yeah, you can't really put in a contract that allows you to be exempt from murder. Can't do that. They can't do any of this. So yeah, he went over this too, where even if it says in the contract and you read it and you agree to it, you can't really enforce those terms if it's a crime. Like if you commit a crime, it's still a crime, even if the contract says otherwise.
Do that at all. You cannot say you cannot call the police on me. You cannot say you can't charge me with trespass. That's not going to happen ever. So that's not a thing in a contract. Don't ever try to do that in a contract. Continuing on, Ben also has.
So yeah, if it's like it's a contract of like you can't trespass me, then he could technically then break in at night and just stay there. So yeah, it's still a crime. You can't do that. You can't do that. You definitely can't charge. You can't like get $5,000 per time they call the cops on you. That's not a thing.
I'd see some
pretty sure. You definitely can't enforce a contract that says you are immune from crime.
Criminal acts that while you may frame them as pranks, they were criminal acts.
You need to leave. Go ahead and leave, and I'm going to ask you one more time. This is the last time.
So after being told you need to leave, you're getting into issues of criminal trespass. A person does not have to give you a good reason to leave the property. They simply need to ask you to leave, and you should leave that property, or you're committing trespass. Now, one thing he does bring up is, I was just trying to serve them this lawsuit. I was trying to have this good faith conversation. Well, that's completely bunk, because all of that could have been achieved through a professional process server. Now, he did have a process server with him. The problem was he was there. And actually, under the relevant local law, it says if you are an interested party, if you are somebody who is involved in a lawsuit as a plaintiff, as a defendant, as somebody who's interested in that lawsuit, you cannot function as the process server. So because he was suing them in small claims court, he is not a valid person to act as a process server or to be there when they're serving process. I know why he was there, but it actually worked against his case and ended up getting him in trouble. He should have left it to that process server. If he wanted to stick a body cam on the process server or something like that, he might have been able to do that, depending on the consent laws there. But that said, he might be able to record it, but not be there himself physically, because I think that is where the issues come up, and that's where the trespassing comes up. You also have potential disorderly conduct, which comes in for many of his pranks that he was pulling off.
And we did it. And the sign is way too small. What the heck, ChatGPT?
And targeted residential picketing, as well as several likely local ordinance violations.
Ben Barker, we're getting caught up with this old Lego fiasco. It's pretty insane.
Remember, there's always going to be some local law that you're violating. That's always going to happen. The other thing is stalking. This comes up pretty clearly if you look at their behavior and you think about this through a lens of, well, what if these were just innocent people, even if they're not, right? You look at it as stalking because it's conduct causing reasonable fear for your safety or emotional distress. Typically, it has to be 2 or more actions, but they had a multitude of actions that they recorded in 4K of them going around, recording people, going to their houses, etc. That's going to look like stalking. That's not going to look...
What to say? Is that stalking? It's going to... you can't really... That's like, what was the mindset behind this of recording people going to and from work and stuff? That's going to look insane in any court. And if you're tried by a jury, I don't know. I don't think they're going to get a jury case. I'm not really sure. But like to the judge, any judge is probably going to see this and go like, this is crazy. You are insane. What? You're stalking these people.
Good. So you've got all of these things that can come against Ben potentially, whether or not he can say he had this imprimatur, this kind of slight reason of serving that lawsuit. He didn't legally need to be the one to do that. And one thing that he does repeatedly here is act as if he's Mansell's legal representative. But he's not really in an official legal role. He's not their attorney. He's not a trustee in their case. He's not necessarily a process server, because he might not be qualified as a party to those small claims lawsuits. So he really doesn't have a role to play here in that. He's kind of creating this role, or he thinks he had this role to play as a representative, where he really doesn't. His main role, which he did work very effectively, was drawing publicity. The other big thing is his lottery.
I want everyone's attention. We're doing a Lego raffle. This Lego set is worth $1,000.
In Oregon, the lottery is highly regulated, and he went through a lot of steps and a lot of rigmarole saying he set up an official lottery.
All you need to know is that I put a lot of work into making sure that this is a legal, legit raffle.
Now, despite him saying this was a real lottery, this would likely be treated as regulators as a prank. And I know this because I've worked on actual lotteries and giveaways when working with companies for several years. But if you did analyze this as an actual lottery, Ben might actually be in trouble, because in this case, he knew when he started this that the Legos were in the possession of somebody else and he could not give those away. So from the beginning, he knew it was a fraud. He knew that he could not go in and get those Legos because he'd already been denied. Ultimately, he says he paid out the lottery because he felt like it was the right thing to do, but that is actually not the answer. He paid out the lottery just to keep himself out of actually getting in trouble here and actually sent to jail. Because if you end up running a real lottery knowing that you can't give somebody the prize, well, you're still going to be on the hook there, whether or not
probably the smart thing to do.
You like it. So you might have to pay out that value of that item that you were going to give away, even if you're not going to give it away. So that's where you're going with that. So I would not be so flippant to run in and go start pretending to run a lottery and have people going out there thinking you can just run a scam lottery anytime. I think that's something that people need to be cautious of. And Ben was a little reckless with running that one. So what is the actual professional approach that should have been had here? Well, first of all, I think from the beginning, he should have used lawyers and process servers. Don't tag along to film. That actually can violate the local law. That actually can keep you from having an effective service of process, meaning giving someone the papers and starting that lawsuit. The other thing they could do is they could have filed reports with the regulatory entities, the BBB, the people that regulate the franchise owners, and support those by evidence. Submit those in to the people that regulate them and have them also come in and help come down on these people. The other thing is they could have brought in at some point a professional mediator or an arbitrator, somebody that could come as a go-between that's seen as neutral, seen as somebody who's going to be reasonable and not just be doing it for the clout, for the video, YouTube video, etc. Also, he did do a smart thing. I will give Ben credit that by itemizing and splitting things out for the small claims, by breaking those into smaller amounts and then assigning those to different people, that is permissible. People do break things out and assign them, and that is permissible. But they could have also gone to get an injunction for a return of the property. And that would have been a very logical way to try to get that back really quickly, or at least prevent the sale of the existing inventory that they might still have and be trying to sell. The other thing is you really can't engage in what we call in the law self-help. And this video is all about vigilante self-help. It's about a YouTuber.
And see, Ben Parker says, someone else has called into the question of the franchises are truly independently owned or operated, considering nobody has come out against the BAM corporate. It's kind of interesting. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff at play here. It gets kind of weird.
A person who took things into his own hands, and there is a limit to that because eventually it can constitute harassment. And particularly when you run into a small town, whether it's the Mormon mafia or not,
the Mormon mafia,
you are going to get pushback from the PD.
Walking a very dangerous line, which gets you into a lot of things. Yeah. And you could end up in jail in Utah when you're from Cali. Okay. Not worth it, right? Yeah. We play differently here.
And while what they did was certainly wrong and definitely needs to be investigated, there's a point at which you need to remove yourself from that, step back, and let the process take over. Let people who are professionals go in there and handle this, not you and your YouTube boys. In judgment, Brian Mansell's case,
it's relative as the Shediversity
is very sympathetic. I have a lot of sympathy in the Bricks and Minifigs case for what happened from them stealing from old people. That is absolutely wrong. And he was wronged here in his consignment agreement. He entered into an agreement and got shafted. And this does happen in business all the time. However, all of this could have been avoided likely if a lawyer willing to work on contingency would have found the Mansells before Reckless Ben. If they just got a professional in there, they could have handled this much more quietly than this. Now, maybe it wouldn't have the publicity it has, and that's something to be said about YouTubers covering this for publicity. But at a certain point, it passed the line where there's things that are happening that are indeed criminal and possibly defamatory. The other thing that has come up here is the local police need to be investigated, and that goes without saying. They've done some things here that clearly are shady, involving potential excessive force, illegal stops, searches, bias, body cam footage destruction. There needs to be investigation by the state coming down, looking into that, saying, what are these local PDs doing? Because this is not following their procedures. I will agree with that part. So on that part, definitely the police are in the wrong, and it's a gross misuse of police resources when they can be used really anywhere else better than this. It also is not the job of the police to enforce the civil side. And the fact that they're willing to do things for their buddies and not willing to do things for these out-of-town YouTubers, while it may not be surprising, walk in
and see, we got a guest in the back room chat. Let's see who this could possibly be. 1 second here. Where are we now? Where is it? Why does StreamYard insist on jumbling all my clips? And said, "Welcome, Glib."
Hello.
Lego Glib.
Yes. It's coming out soon on Dreamcast.
Or should I say hello?
Hello.
Lego Glib. Dave Muslim says, thanks for 37 months support. Says, question, you hear about Helldivers as Warhammer crossover? No, that sounds pretty awesome, though.
Is that actually happening?
Helldiver guys fight Warhammer. They're pretty interesting.
I have the Halo ODST mod. All like the weapon pack and the kit
for Helldivers?
Yeah. If you can get HD Arsenal, it's like a modding resource, and you can just download directly from Nexus Mods and turn them on and off. They have Warhammer for it, but I don't like the idea of the Helldivers being like Space Marine power armor guys, because they're too fleshy for that. They should be Imperial Guardsmen because they're expendable, or Kasserkins, or
everyone's expendable for democracy.
Yes, exactly. Except for me, I'm important. I'm a political commissar.
Exactly. Let's see. Well, we got. I was recommended this video. Why every novel sounds the same now. I'll check it out. See what they have to say on this topic. I have the conclusions that from going by yesterday, it seems like book talk is driving a lot of what the publishing industry does now. It's like they're all looking at book talk and saying, "Oh, well, that's obviously the most popular direction to go is whatever is popular on book talk." And so, suddenly what's popular in book talk, romantasy, becomes almost a totality of what they sell in contemporary fiction, with modern day stuff.
By the way, I think it's pretty disrespectful that the 40K people have still not mentioned the death of their artist. And it's not the first time that that's happened. Like one of the most OG artists, I can't pronounce his name. I don't know. John Blanche. Blanche is his name. He passed away yesterday. Yeah, and he's the one that.
They haven't mentioned it.
No, they haven't mentioned it on X or whatever. And I was really disappointed with that, because he's the one that did that badass one where it's the Horus Heresy. I don't know if you've seen it, where it's the Emperor and Sanguinius.
Let's see. Megalathon. That's a $10 super chat. Thank you very much, Megalathon. Where are we now? Let's see here. Oh my God! Megalathon says, "Hi, Glib and LD. Hello to you, Megalathon. Didn't have the chance yesterday, but I'm cutting the middle of 2 government girlfriends and rewriting it. That's usually how it goes. Yeah, writing is rewriting. I've rewritten the Lady Midnight script, for example, several times now. But it gets better each time. But good news, I have the bones of a sequel. Very cool. That's usually what happens. That's usually the sequel tends to be a byproduct of all the rewriting, because then you get more ideas and more like you develop the lore a bit more. You get to know the characters a bit more. Like, well, wouldn't it be kind of funny if this happened? And boom, suddenly you have a sequel.
Yes.
Or the bones of one, at the very least. Thank you very much, Megalathon. Thank you very, very much. It's Edgelord. Says, this is why you should read carefully and thoroughly the contract and see if there are clauses you agreed and disagree with. I guess, otherwise, technically speaking, she would have, they would have ended up like saying, you can't trespass me. And if you do call the cops on me, I charge you $5,000. It's not enforceable. But, if that were the case. Anyway.
Contemporary novels feel very soulless. It's like
they do. It's a Norman Manlish, the fighter chats is a Mormon Godfather be like, you come to me on my night of my son's 5th wedding.
Oh God.
to his 5th wife.
Yes.
And the response, of course, is yes. Thank you much, Norman. Let's see.
they're missing something. They're not memorable. There's no message, and they leave you feeling kind of empty. I mean, just take a look at some of these covers. Don't judge a book by its cover, but the cultural critic Ted Joya points out that these covers are extra soulless. Joya writes that every cover looks like a circus clown's makeup kit, and he's not wrong. It's almost as if contemporary novels want to suck out your soul.
Well, these romantasy fiction book covers remind me of corporate art. Like it's very colorful and bright, but soulless. You've seen corporate art before? It's like a bunch of nothing. It's like corporate music. It's a bunch of nothing. There's like no passion or anything. It's just a bunch of nothing.
Corporate Memphis, the worst type of art I've ever seen in my life.
The worst type of Memphis.
Have you seen their like 1980s, like the original Memphis style?
I don't think so.
Postmodern, it's fucking garbage. It's all of that like weird shapes and the colors from the 1990s. You'd recognize it. It's atrocious.
But I do know that I've seen corporate art of today, and it's pretty much that. When you see it on a lot of romantic covers, it does feel so soulless. I don't know what it is about the Tumblrina art style and feeling soulless.
Check out the picture that I sent you in the chat and show everybody on the Discord.
Oh yeah, it does look like that.
You got to show people that so they can understand.
It does look like that
because it's the 80s. It's that weird geometric 80s shit that became the Nickelodeon style where there was like all these nightmare patterns and the goop and everything. It comes from that Memphis.
It does look like Nickelodeon. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I thought the Nickelodeon style was like, I thought that was this wacky Nickelodeon stuff, but I didn't know it was an actual thing.
No, it caused a lot of controversy. There were a lot of people that were designers at the time, like the guy that was the inspiration for Apple, like who Johnny Ive copied, the Braun artist. I don't remember what his name is, but everything's like clean lines and soft edges, and it's generally very acceptable. This style is just wacky. It has no relation to like what a traditional form is supposed to be, and I find that to be really annoying.
Let's see. I mean, it kind of would be, but it is reminiscent of the covers of today's books. Yeah, at least Romantasy. Is a bunch of color and like he's trying to hypnotize you into thinking that's good, despite having zero substance to it.
After all, every single novel being published today looks and sounds the exact same, and it's about the exact same topic. Joya attributes this phenomenon to the consolidation of small publishing houses into one giant publishing conglomerate, and he's not wrong. I'm old enough to remember when Penguin and Random House were two separate entities. It's clear today that these large publishing houses—
And see, David Musselman next to the $5 here, but yeah, thank you very much, David Musselman. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Let's see, looking up John Blanche art, he created the iconic image of the emperor entombed in the golden throne, the carrion lord half dead, and bacon in the beacon
in the warp.
Or bacon in the
That's what happens when the Geller field fails.
Is that where all the demons live? I knew bacon was evil.
Yeah. Yep, that's right.
Let's see, but yeah, I mean, you think maybe they're gonna let out like a announcement today or something like that, but that's a pretty big artist to lose.
He's the guy that like defined that sort of in between Gothic and I don't know how I would describe it, like almost like Roman revivalism, and it's done in a very messy but clean line kind of way. Like his paint is messy, but his pencils were sharp. And I thought that was a really, like, losing him is a huge tragedy, but having him in the first place is part of the reason why 40K was so successful. I had that as my wallpaper on my computer.
It's very iconic. It's very recognizable.
So iconic. So, you know, we'll light a candle in the Astro Militarium for him.
Sounds good to me.
Are profit driven, which stifles originality. Large publishing houses are going to be very risk averse, which doesn't allow much room for creativity. According to these publishing houses, it's harder to predict sales trends if you launch something completely new. This is all true, and generally I agree with Joya's critique, but there is something else going on. Contemporary novels aren't just soulless because the publishing industry is profit driven. If that were the case, then the publishing industry would be making money from these books. But the problem is that they don't. That suggests to us that there's another missing piece of the puzzle. Let's get into it. My name's Lisa, and you're watching Pens and Poison. So if publishing houses only publish books that they thought would make them money, then presumably they would be making money. But Joy—
the Nurglings making bacon and eggs. Because that's the most evil breakfast.
Ascensions. Check out how we turn this beacon into bacon.
Boom, 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 boom.
There's all these like weird growths coming out of the pig. Skin is blue and
demon
gray.
bacon.
himself admits in his article that the publishing industry is actually losing a lot of money. They're not selling anywhere near the target of hundreds and thousands of copies. In fact, according to this article from 2022, half of all traditionally published titles sell fewer than 12 copies. You heard that correctly, not 12,000.
Yeah, I do remember that whole thing. They sell almost nothing. So they can't be making any money on these things.
12. Now listen, I don't know if this number is accurate. This is just based on one person's investigation into the data that's coming out from Penguin Random House, but I would venture to guess that the number is a lot smaller than most people think. I mean, think about all these titles that I just flashed on the screen. You have never heard of any of them, and for good reason, because no one is reading these books outside of tiny MFA circles. It's like the publishing industry is just one giant exclusive group chat only for MFA grads. MFA grads.
I wonder why it feels that way. It's almost like we were right when it's book talk. It's just book talk. It feels like the whole the modern day traditional publishing industry is run by book talk. It might just be the publishers are looking at book talk to get where to go. They might be book talk. Like everyone who's controlling the publishing industry might be the people in book talk talking about books. Because and then sometimes these fall into like nepotism hands where it's just like the dad built it up and then the daughter gets it and now she's publishing a bunch of romantasy, something like that. They might be book talk. So I don't think it's a coincidence. It feels that way. That it feels like it's one big group chat publishing crap nobody else really wants to get. Even though romantasy should be pretty popular. Although now that I think of it, is romantasy popular organically or is it popular because they're trying to make it popular by just flooding the market with it?
Are all reading the same set of novels and producing novels that sound exactly like the same set of novels that they're reading.
It's kind of weird they're noticing this too, where they all sound the same and read the same and they're all about the same things. It's almost like this is just the literary version of what we've been seeing in movies where all characters sound like they're written by one person. Like every single character from whether it be comics or movies or whatever, they all sound like their dialogue is written by the same exact person. And all of their personalities are all the same exact personality. Like you can look at the person and without hearing a word from them, you know all their opinions on things and their politics. It feels that way. And this is a literary version of it, where now books are all saying the same things, they're all talking about the same things, they all sound the same. There's no unique syntax or style. It's all just the same exact regurgitated way of writing.
And then the cycle continues and all novels start to sound exactly the same. And of course, no one is reading these books. And it's this very risk aversion to innovation that is losing the publishing industry so much money. I'm a business owner, so I know a thing or two about sales. When I'm not doing Pens and Poison, I run a college counseling company on the side for some extra cash. And when I first launched my business, we marketed a broad variety of services: career coaching, resume editing, tutoring, writing coaching, college counseling. And after several months of operation, we found that out of these offerings, only a couple of them were making money. So we pivoted and we tried something new. And we continued to try new things until we found out what worked for us. Any sane business owner will tell you that if something isn't selling, the solution is not to double down on that thing that isn't selling. It is to try.
Welcome to the current day. I'm glad you woke up from your coma. Corporations have been doing this for like the past 10 years. They're just doubling, tripling down. The only reason we have Riri Williams' TV show is because they kept doubling down and tripling down and quadrupling down on things that don't sell. Like Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, Riri Williams, this new Captain Marvel trend, the newer one. Like there's so many characters and franchise styles that or character styles and these added to these franchises that do not work, but they're still doubling and tripling and quadrupling down on them. Like there's no reason why Riri Williams should have gotten anywhere near movie level. Like she should not have appeared in the MCU. She should not have had her own TV show. As much as I like the actress who played Kamala Khan in the Marvels, like she was kind of fun, and I guess her TV show too. She should not have, that character should not have made it to the big screen, because the sales, the way they kept them up was by the sales would die. Like they would release number one, it would sell pretty big because it's number one, and then it would die. Interest would die almost instantly, and then they would just revamp her with a different number one. And this is how we got the new She-Hulk show is because they have their own She-Hulk line that they kind of kept rebooting, and saying, "Oh, is this a miniseries?" They'll just claim it was a miniseries, and then they'll just restart a new one. So these characters are not popular because they're popular. They're popular because the people in charge want them to be successful, and so they dump money. They dumped a lot of effort into making these characters exist, not likable, but exist. And that's how that worked. And doing the same thing here, apparently. Like, yeah, the whole thing with the publishing industry feels and sounds like they're all part of Book Talk. They're all part of the same chat, like backroom chat room, is because it might be they're all Book Talk people. It might be they're all from Book Talk, and they just want to publish what they want to read. Not really what makes the money. And then they're going to double down on it, triple down on it. If someone says to them, "Hey, this is not making any money. You need to pivot to something that does sell," they'll triple down because that's how these people operate. You tell them they can't do something, tell them that what they want to do is not working. They'll say that they'll take it as I guess a challenge, and so they'll say, "No, we're going to quadruple down just to get back at you." But they're all Twitterati people, so instead of being reasonable, they're going to act out of spite. And the person trying to help them by saying this is not working will instead say, they'll say to that person, "Well, I'm going to show you, Dad." "I'm not your dad." "Well, fuck you." Which is a typical comeback. There's a typical comeback as like the way they use that comeback, these like feminist stuff types, Tumblrina types, the comeback of "fuck you." It seems like that's like their version of the N-word. It's like that is the magic bullet. The ultimate insult. But it's like nothing really. Alex Halix the $5 super chat says they even tried to remove anything anime related to several light novels and put a real women on the book picture, but they didn't sell it all after that. Yeah, because that's dumb. That's not what the book is about.
Something completely new, and that does involve risk taking, whether you like it or not. You are never going to find the new thing that works until you try all of the possibilities. The very secret to entrepreneurial success is innovation. This is not rocket science. Anyone who has taken a business 101 class can tell you that innovation is at the center of all progress. And the reason that innovation works so well is that human beings are attracted to this idea of being special. They are attracted to finding new things, not reading the same thing over and over and over again. And if the goal is to make money, which it is for the publishing industry, then risk-taking is the number one thing that should be happening within the...
Who else has said this? Oh, yeah, it was me. When I said that, consulting the charts will get you slop. Consulting the charts will get you what has proven the audience wants, right? But it takes artistic vision to make something new. It takes artistic vision to get people excited about something new, something fresh, to redefine an era. Slop might sell, but artistic vision will get you something fresh and new and interesting, right? So this is kind of what we're seeing right here, is that I guess this is not even just slop. This is like the most slop you can get, it seems, where everything is almost literally carbon copy the same with a different cover. What you need is someone new, someone fresh with a new artistic vision going in a different direction, which is not just the same slop over and over again. But it's scary. That's kind of the whole thing that we get from George Lucas. That part's scary for people doing the investing, because it goes counter to the basic principles of investment. The basic principles of investment is more along the lines of, making money. Like, is it a sure thing? Like, what's my risk assessment here for when I give you like $1 million or whatever? That's kind of what investors look for. And so, of course, if someone's going to invest a bunch of money into something, they're going to look at charts. They're going to look at what has worked before. But in the creative industry, it's a little bit tougher. It's not how it's not really how it works. Dumping a bunch of money into what has worked before might get you some slop that might sell, but taking a risk on an unknown nobody with a fresh vision is probably is a big risk. You might lose a lot of money, but the payoff, the potential payoff, is huge, as opposed to maybe a little bit of money from some slop.
Publishing industry. So I fundamentally reject this premise that publishing is soulless and evil because of the...
Let's see. Leif Hazard says, I want to separate the artist from the art, but when the artist makes that impossible, I will make my money elsewhere forever. There is no forgiveness for the sin of personal politics and story. Yeah, when they could have become really invested in putting in the politics into a story, it kind of ruins everything else. It should be about the story. Focus on the story. Let's see here. We've ever said that, Lee. And not once.
The profit-making machine. I think actually if the publishing industry focused more on making money, they would actually inadvertently then start to produce literature that people actually want to read, because in a functional capitalist society, the people at the end of the day guide what sells. So if the publishing industry cared about making money, they would number 1, take risks, number 2, sign talent over tropes, number 3, analyze gaps in the market, and number 4, constantly try new things. Only way to create...
It's a Yahtzee's books are fun. You mean like Ben Yahtzee Croshaw? Yeah, I got Mogworld. Mogworld was a lot of fun.
And Jam.
Yeah, Jam. It's a book about Jam and apocalypse. And we'll save the galaxy for food. It was pretty fun too. But she's talking about romance as fantasy, right? Simple slop sells in grocery stores. Yeah, but it used to be where it's the different authors will have their own vision and flavor to their books. But now they're saying it's not even that. It's literally all the same stuff. Like, it all sounds the same, reads the same. It's about the same stuff. It's all just well, they said that you should say Wattpad. It's all just millennial speak, Twitterati speak. Where it used to be like every author had their own flavor to it. But yeah, when you go to the grocery store, they might have some books there, and the 2 books you're going to get are like romance and thriller, some sort of spy thriller or action thriller. One for women, one for men. The most base kind of guaranteed sales to anyone buying books. Like if a woman wants to buy a book, she's probably going to buy a romance. If a man wants to buy a book, before he goes home, he's probably going to buy some flavor of thriller.
Innovation is to make something that no one has ever done before. But instead, the publishing industry has latched onto the exact opposite formula. The publishing industry runs on trends, which is why you always hear authors talking about tropes, and it refuses to take risks. The reason that so many contemporary novels feel so soulless is because they have lost touch with the very engine that drives creativity and drives innovation: the people. In other words, publishers no longer publish books that people want to read. They publish books that other MFA grads want to read. And as a result, these books never...
I just looked at Mogworld on my Amazon. I purchased that book 14 years ago. It's been a long time since that book was published.
Exit MFA circles. And the fact is that few MFA students and publishing professionals are even familiar with novels that don't follow the MFA house style or aren't...
You know what's interesting? I think this is kind of one of the reasons why Dungeon Crawler Carl is such a big thing right now, because it feels very much like the author. If you can, it doesn't feel AI, it doesn't feel ChatGPT, it doesn't feel like it's some Tumblrina writing it or some millennial writing it. It feels like a person with passion writing it. It feels like a unique voice writing this story. And I think that kind of draws people in, especially today, where everything is like ChatGPT and millennial speak. It feels refreshing to these people. I think a lot of people
written in a certain very specific way. Here's a great example.
It's edgy, funny too. Like, it's not sanitized.
I just can't believe that there's like so much orthodoxy in this that they're going for it. This is the other video. I was talking about this yesterday with somebody about the thing, and I was thinking like the problematic and normalization verbiage. It just felt so groupthink. And
yeah,
it feels like being in a group is part of this like feminine way of looking at all this stuff. I don't know about you, but as a writer, I'm just like, I'm trying to find my voice. I'm trying to figure out what reads well to me. And I know what I like and what I don't like. Like, I don't like George R.R. Martin's prosaic style. It doesn't work well for me. I also don't like the workman style way of doing it. I feel like it should be a little bit more, not flowery, but the flow of it, the way that it reads in your head should work well. I can't imagine going and trying to learn and adapt to a specific way of writing that doesn't reflect what I want to read. Like, I think that the best way to learn how to write is just to read a lot.
Yeah.
Am I crazy there?
That is a huge, I mean, that's like an age-old recommendation. If you want to become an author, read a lot. And it's kind of Alan Moore said that too. Like Alan Moore's like read not only good books, but bad books. You know, you learn from the good books, and the bad books you'll be like, "Whoa, I can do better than this." So, you know, you have to read a lot. You also have to listen to people a lot to get different voices and see. But yeah, I think they all kind of consolidated not on just one type of genre, but like one flavor of book that they sell. Basically, it's kind of like they all got together, and the bunch of ice cream stores got together and decided to all just publish vanilla, sell vanilla, like not like a wide variety of vanilla, one standard vanilla that they all sell. And people are like, you know, I like vanilla, but man, sometimes I want to change it up. No, you can only buy vanilla.
Example of this, of something I went through very recently when I queried my latest novel, Blue Snow. So my novel channels a lot of great literary works because I fundamentally believe that literature is a centuries-old dialogue between the past and present. So my novel echoes The Catcher in the Rye, Pale Fire, and The Notes from the Underground. These are 3 books that are...
Oh, man. You're getting down in there. Listen to Pale Fire by Vladimir Nabokov. Damn. And J.D. Salinger. Catcher in the Rye. Interesting.
Notes from the Underground. These are 3 books that are very exposition heavy. Now, if you've read any of these books, you'll know that nothing really happens in any of these books. Not on the surface, at least. The beauty of these 3 novels is they all run on...
Vladimir Nabokov wrote Lolita, so that's kind of where he is. So I had to read that in college. That was assigned reading, was Lolita.
On psychological depth and writing style. This is what publishing professionals like to call voice, but they actually don't care about unique voices if it's not a particular MFA voice. And Salinger, Nabokov, and Dostoevsky intentionally write in a style that is more interior, that is more psychological, that is less plot-driven, because that allows us to see the intersection.
The book Lolita was kind of funny, actually, because the way he writes, because it's from Umber's point of view, and he kind of just jokes and stuff. Like, he's kind of a psycho.
Of these 3 characters, and that is part of the reason that we still read these novels today.
I ended up watching the movie Lolita, and it was the one with Jeremy Irons, right? And it's like way more dramatic and touchy-feely. He just reads everything with like a sense of romance, but in the book, it kind of feels very flippant and like a psycho. It's more like in the book, he feels more reminiscent to like Patrick Bateman than this damaged poetic guy.
Novels are not about what happens to these characters. They are about understanding the inner psychological state of these 3 characters that all go crazy in their own ways. So in my first round of agent queries, I sent out a novel that's deliberately structured in the vein of Catcher in the Rye. If you're a serious literary reader, you should...
Oh, hey, it's not actually a real library back there. It's a backdrop. I see it wiggling. It's a canvas backdrop.
Immediately catch the Catcher parallel, and that should immediately tell you something about the novel's themes. And like Holden, my protagonist doesn't initially want to say what is bothering her because she has a lot of repressed feelings that mirror some of her issues. So
they don't. Like, David Duck with his idiotic readers and literary academics don't know how to interpret literature and art anymore. You know what's the main red flag of someone I could probably guess has no idea how to interpret literature is if they unironically use the term media literacy. If they unironically use the term media literacy, then that's a pretty good indicator that they have no idea how to interpret artistic works on a deeper level. Because it's usually projection, right? Right, it's usually projection where they will say you have no idea how to do that, but when really they have no idea how to dive deeper into the meaning of a work. Dave always says, "Good morning, LD." Shadiversity said the He-Man movie is fantastic. Of course, he really likes Twilight. That's like the hammer that damns Diversity every time. He liked this movie, yeah, but he also likes Twilight, so he's not the most reliable source. So I have heard there's mixed things going around about He-Man. So it should be pretty interesting to see what the final verdict is.
Don't really understand exactly what the novel's about until much later. It's deliberately withheld to give you a sense of this character's psychology. The same thing can be said of The Underground Man, where the first 80 pages or so are these random tangents and you're wondering, what does this have to do with anything? And then you realize how that connects to some of his life experiences later down the road in the second half of the book. And the cool thing about Notes from the Underground is that we don't need to be hit over the head with all the themes. By the time we're done reading through all of his seemingly arbitrary musings, we know exactly what the novel novel is about, and we know exactly why he has become a recluse. Those random tangents actually don't end up being so random. So in the original version of my novel, I had these very deliberate digressions. And those digressions were at the heart of the book's literary and psychological architecture. The effect is that by the time you're thrust into the main story, you look back on those first several chapters and you feel a little bit unsettled because you already know parts of the character's psychology and you know that something is a little bit off by the time it gets to the actual plot story. This is the same way that Kimboat's introduction to John Chase.
And see, Alex Taylor's the 5, but she says people who say media literacy will also complain about having to read subtitles for an anime. I mean, yeah, I don't usually unless I have to, but that's because I do like I have to listen to it and watch it while I do something else usually. But that's kind of how it goes. But I do enjoy it. I did enjoy the fact you're finding out that the same English voice actor lady who does Frieren also voices High Elf Archer from Goblin Slayer. I was like, that's kind of funny that she voices 2 iconic elven ladies that people like. And it's both. I guess she should be typecast as the elven voice. The female elf voice.
Poems functions in Pale Fire. You read that introduction to Pale Fire and you feel like something is off, and then you start reading these sorts of arbitrary notes to Pale Fire, and you continue to feel like something is off until you figure out what's going on. For lack of a better term, this sort of writing is very cool, but not for literary agents. Within a week of sending out my sample chapters, I started to cut.
And see, Bar Studios says Masters of Digital Circus. See them both. Masters of Digital Circus. See them both. Interesting. You mean like Amazing Digital Circus? That's the main digital circus I know of. It's the amazing Digital Circus.
Complaints about how my narrator was too rambly and too digressive, and how I should basically cut out these ramblings or make them into scenes. My conflict wasn't clear enough from the first 5 pages, and my sentences were too long. And I had written these long sentences deliberately because they showed the inner turmoil that this.
And long sentences is a tough thing. Okay, so like. You want to be punchy with your sentences. You don't really want to go on a rambling. So the thing is, when a reader goes into a novel, all right, long sentences is typically academia work. Like a lot of some readers are really going to like put up with really long sentences with semicolons and crap. So, but it's not necessarily like a deal killer though. So you have to watch out. You have to be careful. But if you have too many long sentences in there, it could bog down the story because it's something psychological. It's like a click. Like, okay, I'm done with this sentence. Now on to the next sentence. On to the next sentence. On to the next sentence. There is a way. There's like a craft to just like how long your sentences would be. When do you break a paragraph? Things like that. So you got to watch out for that stuff too. And it might feel on the artistic side like, oh, I need to have this or have that. But really, no one's going to notice. There are things like the people will notice, but you think they will notice, but they won't. They won't, and it'll just hurt you in the long run. So some of these editors are like, yeah, this could be a problem, and they might be correct. It's kind of why you need an editor or someone who away from the artwork, mostly detached from the art. Take a look, because you as the artist are like, oh, this is pretty cool. This is pretty awesome. Like I thought for Lady Midnight, it'd be pretty awesome to have like be black and white and everything. And then people are like, I thought it'd be pretty cool to have a black and white to like showcase the gray morality that's around the city, to showcase how purposely and artistically black and white, like Twilight Zone kind of is. But people are like, oh, it's black and white. Don't want to get that. See, it's kind of like that. Like the long sentences might feel like it's artistic boon, like, oh, this is pretty cool. And it goes into the psychology of the person, but the reader's not going to care about that artistic reason. They're going to see a long sentence. It's kind of one of those things. And see, Alex Halo looks at the 5. Richard Fett says, by the way, Japanese VA for Frieren is also the VA for Anya from Spy X Family. That's pretty funny. They're like the two characters.
Character is facing. When your brain is overwhelmed with thoughts, you're not thinking in 3-word sentences. You are thinking in these long, rambly, digressive sentences that show that something is falling apart inside of your mind. And that's the key psychological effect in my novel, and that's why I think it's actually pretty cool. But for literary agents, there wasn't enough action in the first 5 freaking pages, and there wasn't enough narrative propulsion. So they told me—
It's also a factor. You got to have some action in there. At least it doesn't have to be like, John Wick action, but there has to be some tension in there where there's going to be some conflict. I think it's kind of what they're looking for, some hard-hitting conflict, and not a deep dive into psychology just yet, because we don't care just yet. We need some conflict. I think that's kind of what we're usually looking for in the first couple of pages, because I think editors for a while now kind of clock in at, if a reader is not hooked by page, say 5, then they're going to put it down, or heck, page 1 even. But that's what they're operating on. So you have to kind of keep that in mind, that they're operating on getting them hooked like immediately.
To redo my intro chapters. And so I sat down, I looked at all these notes from the literary agents, and I wrote the chapters in exactly the way that these agents wanted. I swapped out internal monologues for scenes, and I started clipping my sentences. I cut all the psychological asides, and before you know it, I had a screenplay in novel form. My chapters had less voice, less personality, and no soul. Certainly less originality, but within days of sending out this new version, I got 7 manuscript requests.
Also, I don't know. I have to see the manuscript, because it could be that they were wrong and they could have just cut the soul out of it. But also, could be that she was just rambling. I don't know. Also, could be that she was just rambling with psychological stuff that no one will care about, unattached from what's going on. Because it's easy to do that if your inspiration is like Catcher in the Rye and stuff, and and Lolita, because they do that a lot, but it connects. Like Catcher in the Rye, Lolita, they both connect to something going on, and so the tension is high. It goes back to the Metamorphosis opening, where it opens up with Gregor Sansa like becoming a bug, and then it goes into the description of the room and stuff like that. So the description of the room part is boring, especially if you're not attached to anything, attached to the characters or the world or whatever. It's usually pretty boring, and you kind of gloss over it. But because we began with Gregor Samsa found himself turned into a bug one day, we're just like, okay, everything is interesting now. It's like, okay, is it has to do with the symbols on the wall or the pictures, or what's going on? You're awake, like you're invested now. So I call that's the Metamorphosis opening. So the Franz Kafka opening, which I enjoy quite a bit. I always do that. I'm not sure if people read the prose version of things, but I always open up with like something that gets you right in. I like the Kafka opening, like Dead Man's Lullaby. It begins with him, waking up after, waking up naked and after being drugged and stuff. Like it begins that way. The Dr. Alpha Miracle Child begins with this, the image of a superhero walking down this hallway of villains and ending up at this big gigantic vault with the biggest villain of them all behind there. So that's kind of
like that opening. I thought it was like a nice like you learned from the previous one. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was more efficient.
Yeah, that's page 1.
I've been having trouble with What's funny to me is that I wrote a script and I'm on my 4th draft of it, and it shouldn't be this hard, but I've been having a lot of writer's block about it, because I wrote the beginning of it, and the beginning of it is sort of like the root. It's like you're building a tent or something, and you're hammering the spike into the ground. And so it's a foundational aspect of it. But when I go back and I read it, it's my least favorite part, because it hasn't been like refined enough. Whereas 90 pages, 30 pages or whatever in, I started to find the flow of it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's probably going to be the introduction of the story and the opening initial incident and how it's developed is probably going to be the last thing that I do. But it's also the first thing that I wrote. So it's interesting how if you read something back to yourself later, your opinion on what you're doing changes. And it's
it might suck now.
Yes, exactly. It's that difficulty of, was I right before or am I right now? Because I feel like I'm improving it, but am I missing something by taking this out and changing this around? And I don't know. It becomes a little bit of a risk as time goes by, and you have to use your best judgment. And so that's why
it does become better usually.
I think it does if you step away from it and then try and read it back as if you have sort of forgotten what mode you were in. You have
like
to kind of take a break. Yeah, exactly. Come back and you read it and you go, oh, actually, because that's happened to me. I thought that the whole script was shit and I needed to rewrite it from scratch. But then I kept reading. I read down to like the 8th page and I was like, oh, wait, now I'm hooked again. I actually like my work. But it's that opening initial thing where the writing is establishing form as well as prose, and I want to fix the form and the prose. But it's one of those things where it's like, I know that there are certain sequences that have to be in it, and it's like when you apply a sticker to something and you notice that there's a little bubble in the sticker, and you're like, damn it, I got to get that bubble out. That's exactly what that feeling is.
You want to get it nice and perfect and smooth.
Exactly.
But that's kind of what happens when you write a new story. You begin with the intro, and then you kind of move on to the story. You're digging through it, and you get to, as you do that, you get to know the characters and the story a lot better, to the point where you reach the end of the manuscript and you go back to the beginning, like, oh, this feels so shallow compared to what I know now. And then you restart the rewrite. It's kind of why writing is rewriting, because the more you write these characters in the story, the more you know it, and the more you know it, the more you mastered it, and the more you can cleverly and intellectually pull the strings of the story and manipulate what's going on. That's kind of what happened with Lady Midnight, where the one I wrote now was like, the first one was okay. Then I redid it again and again and again, and I got to this one version of it that was really good. I get right into the whole investigation and the history and everything. There's a lot of stuff going on. Then sometime later, I looked back, I was like, oh, there's so many plot holes. There's so many holes to the mystery that go unanswered. And I spent literally a week, 9 to 5, not literally 9 to 5, nonsense, but like basically entire work days worth of hours for more than a week, going back and forth with questions I had, hammering out things to the most remote degree, to the point where I hammered out pretty much everything, every question I could possibly have about the mystery, and make it essentially bulletproof. And it resulted in me kind of having to rewrite a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I added some characters. I had to add some characters to play some roles. But I also was able to master the story a little bit more. So now it's going to have more lore. It's going a little more. It's taking a little more breath. It has more time to breathe. I actually cut a character too. Like there used to be like 3 siblings of this family. And I cut one because like he no longer was relevant. So this stuff can happen. This stuff can happen. And what's interesting is that the initial draft of the story, one of the characters was the killer, and in the later draft is not the killer anymore. A different person became the killer. So I had a cooler idea for who would be the killer. Let's see. Alex Halo, there's the fight. Although he's still a kind of antagonist, he's not the killer anymore. Alex, thanks for the final superchats. I remember LD was getting a little bored at the start of Fate's Day Night Vision All because they setting everything up with introducing the characters. It's a lot. It is a lot. I just take your time. I mean, get me invested with this one character first, and boom, we move on. And that's kind of what they did. But it's just a lot of concepts and things being thrown at you, and just long rambles and things. Let's see. Norman Man, thanks for the $5 super chat, says artists making art for other artists sounds like a snake eating its own tail. It kind of. But I guess that is kind of like, technically speaking, that is kind of how comic books are made. If you're the writer and you hire an artist, it's an artist making art technically for another artist. And see, Alex Alex 5 says, then LD got invested as soon as the first 2 fights started. Yeah, then they were. See, this is why, by the way, the editors will say, hey, we need some conflict. We need some fights. Because fights are really visceral. Like, it's really fun to have this. And I mentioned the Lester Dent, my secret formula, the Lester Dent formula, which is what I use to write everything as a baseline. I use it on Miracle Child, I use it on Dead Man's Lullaby, the Lester Dent writing formula. And it's like 4 parts, 1,500 words per part. And then it also ends with a physical conflict and a twist. Okay, each one of the 4 parts ends with a physical conflict twist. So part 1, physical conflict twist twist for part 2, 3, and 4. That's why, because you kind of need that physical conflict to get people invested. Now, you don't really need to have physical conflict necessarily, but you need to have some kind of conflict in there. Real conflict, not just like brother and sister arguing over nonsense. I mean, like actual story, hard-hitting conflict. And it's kind of why that the introductions are so tough, because technically speaking, and here's the irony of it all, the best way to get your introduction is by knowing how the rest of the story goes. So you can only get a real proper strong introduction if you know what the conclusion is already. Because then you can go back to the introduction and go, oh, that's what that meant. Or it kind of, because a good introduction should resonate, resonate throughout the book. It should really be your hearting introduction that you can feel as you read throughout the story. Let's see. But thank you much, Alex Taylor. Appreciate it. Alex Taylor, says the Fates Stay Night visual novel got you confused because for some reason the translator decided to translate Rin speaking German for her spell casting a spell. That's true. Let's see. And Ghost. Thanks for the chat here. Says LD, what's worse as a writer getting into a flow, you really pouring words on the page and then being interrupted by like BoJack Dad, or just sitting at the keyboard and nothing just happens? Yeah. And so you might be in the flow and then the flow breaks because of for some reason. It's hard to get back into it sometimes. But then also you might be in a flow and you're just like hammering out all these words and you go back to it and it's terrible. Usually it is but usually it's like there's some meat there, but a lot of it is fat, or a lot of it is worthless, or needs to be rearranged. So it's still good. It's still good that you do that. Just know that to go back and reorder it, reshape it, and whittle and perfect it a little bit. And see, Megalithon, thanks for the $5 super chat. Thank you much. Appreciate it. Yes. I really like the script process and stuff.
You're underwater. You're underwater.
Oh man, hold on.
Okay, now you're good. Go again.
All right, I try to fix it anyway. So hopefully I sound good now. And so I really like these creating process discussions. Give me confidence in my own work, like how my villain is now just an antagonist that will be an ally. It's there's a saying by Neil Gaiman where he's like, the second draft is when we make it look like we knew what we were doing. But anyway, chat, we got a guest in the back room. Let's see who this could possibly be as soon as I find the intro here. Aha.
What's Gucci, my ninjas, bro? At a tat, the bro, pretorious, the bro, pretorious. LADPHD, we apologize. I'm a beast, you better check. I'm flipping the script, redefining the monomyth. Emblematic of greatness. What's Gucci, my ninjas, bro? At a tat, the bro, pretorious, the bro, pretorious. LADPHD, we apologize. Much is most smooth as ever. Main character vibe. The YouTuber, the whole chat subscribe.
And welcome, Mad.
Oh, what's Gucci, my kittens? Source and upload. A couple things. One, I found the perfect thing for you, LD. I found a church that did a play based on Blood In, Blood Out to teach about the Lord, and it is phenomenal.
That does sound awesome.
Yo, man, you know what Vas Locos really need? They need that Jesus, man.
In that
Come
Jesus,
on,
Holmes.
let the Lord in your heart, man. It's great. Two, you're all wrong about this whole second draft shit. If L. Ron Hubbard, who has written more books than anyone else, he has the record. His motto was first draft, last draft, get it out the door.
Yeah, but he didn't do that with Dianetics.
He improved Dianetics once he was no longer able to have any type of claim to it.
Scientology is the second draft of Dianetics.
Only because he lost the rights to claim that he was the founder of dialectics or whatever.
Diuretics.
Diuretics, is that it?
Yeah.
He made diuretics. And see. Alexander 2 says, LD, why is Rin saying the Konami code? Yeah, like up, down, down.
BA start.
All right, well, check it out. So, yeah, I don't know what her manuscript was like, so it's hard to judge whether or not they took the soul out of it. But I feel like my instinct tells me it was rambly. It's rambly.
Wait,
at the
were we done with that video?
Which is this one?
Oh, is it the same video? Oh, do we like this person?
I've never seen her before.
I do not like her voice at all. My God.
I was trying to be nice, but it just like I'm being lectured to by an HR agent.
Yeah.
It's the up, down, down. There's the $5 super chat.
Yes.
He is. Oh, Down says, you rang. Mr. Konami Code says, you rang. Certainly did.
From literary agents. But the problem is I didn't want to work with these literary agents anymore because what I had submitted was not my writing and it was no longer my novel. So I went back.
She doesn't speak like this normally, right?
And crickets.
That's what I want to ask.
Is this the female version of the YouTube voice, the essay voice?
Actually, don't know.
This is why she's a writer, because she knows she sounds so bad, right?
There aren't very many female essayists, as far as I know.
Well, you have what's her name? Maggie J. Fish. What is it? Maggie May Fish?
Yeah, but she's insane. I remember the she's
bananas, bro.
Absolutely bonkers. Insane.
But no, the original version of my novel is so much better, so much deeper. The new version just read like a soulless screenplay. So this is what is happening today in the publishing industry and why every single.
I wish we could get a sample, because this happened before. One of my favorite. This kind of leads me into one of my favorite conflicts in literary history, which was Gordon Lish, one of the greatest of all time editors, versus Jonathan Carver. I think that's what his name was. And what happened was that Jonathan Carver would write. He wrote like his stories, right? He wrote his story, and then he would hand it over to Gordon Lish, who was a rock star editor and a very interesting figure. But he would cut down. He's a ruthless pen, and he would cut down the story to like a fourth of what it was, and he would also change the story. It's like completely different. In my the video where I cover I actually go over I kind of touch on this conflict, where it came out. It actually resulted in a potential lawsuit. They didn't actually go to court or anything, but there was a conflict of that Gordon Lish changed the story so much that they were technically his stories now. That was the conflict about publishing and everything. And I actually was handed because I was very close with like an English professor of mine, and he kind of introduced us to Gordon Lish and everything. He personally handed me a copy of Jonathan Carver's stories before they were edited by Gordon Lish. It was very interesting. I kind of summarized it and whittled it down in my video, but it's Gordon Lish would make it make the stories more like sad, more like a ambiguous ending, where Jonathan Carver is more wholesome. So I kind of go over I forgot what the story was called at the moment. I can't recall, but it's like the baker, about a baker where this wife orders a cake for her son, and the son is hit by a car. So there's not going to be any birthday party.
Is the cake okay?
Fortunately, yes, because it's safe with the baker.
Oh, okay, good.
But then Gordon Lish's version is about like the wife going home, not knowing if her son will live. She's being told that he'll be okay, but she doesn't know. And she's just like, in a bath, listening to the phone ring because the baker is like, what the hell? Aren't you going to pick up the cake? What's going on? So it kind of ends with that ambiguity, this constant harassment that the world keeps going, even though there's a tragedy you're going through. Meanwhile, Jonathan Carver's version is that the baker does keep calling her and calling the family, and they get upset at him because, like, I guess they just don't tell him that, hey, we don't really need the cake because the kid's in the hospital. But the kid does die, and he ends up dying. And then they go to the baker and they kind of have a little confrontation, but they end with a wholesome sit down where they understand each other and they break bread with each other, literally break bread with each other, and they kind of go back and forth with their own troubles, and they become friends at the end. That's Jonathan Carver's version, where Gordon Lish's version is more ambiguous, a little bit darker, a little bit more pessimistic.
You want to hear the mad version of it? So
Sure.
The baker, right after being frustrated because nobody comes get the cake, he says "fuck it" and he goes to the hospital to deliver it and demands his money.
in the hospital room,
yeah,
in front of the kid. Here's your cake.
Bro. They entered a legally binding agreement.
Where's my cake, motherfucker?
Well, no, where's my money? I got your cake.
Where's my money?
And then they don't, but they refuse to pay him, so he sits there and eats it in front of him while he sings "Happy Birthday" to himself, to the dead son.
Like "Happy Birthday" to me.
I was thinking of it. I was like, no, he sings it to the dead song, but he changed it to "Happy Death Day." Nailed it. That's the ending.
Small good thing in the bathtub. Yeah, that's it. In fact, that's a really funny part of it is the two stories are so different. They have two different titles. One of them was the one by Gordon Lish. The other one was by Jonathan Carver. But anyway, SMB5 says that her lips are moving, but I hear is blah 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 blah. I hear that a little bit too, but I wish she would put up like an example. Like speaking of, this is why I got on that rant in the first place. I wish she would put up an example of what her, I guess not the whole thing, but like a little snippet of what her script was like before and what it was like after editing, because my every instinct says that it was rambly and that the editing improved it. I don't know.
I find it funny every time I come across one of these videos where I'm like, man, I know we shouldn't encourage people to use AI to write this shit, but some people need to just use Claude to punch it up. That's all I'm saying, you know?
A little bit. A little
just punch it up for you, bro. There's no issue there.
Let's see. Alexander Chat says Fate Stay Night first draft. Fate prototype was so popular they decided to make it canon timeline, but author doesn't feel like finished writing it. It's like I was supposed to like this first draft. I mean, like, so wait a minute. Yeah, that's the one where King Arthur's a man, right? This unthinkable timeline where King Arthur's a man. Trent Dibigod, this is five Chat says to get back to GOW Lofty, Faye is Kratos' second wife, and I think it's a prequel to 4. She was also a giant, so that kind of explains why she's so strong. Like a Norse like shield maiden lady. That makes sense.
My biggest issue is with people being like, but the actress, I don't know her name, True Blood, but she's so pretty, and they put the ugly filter. I mean, come on, guys. Yes, they put the ugly filter.
They always do that, yeah.
But you don't sit here and try to cap to me about her being attractive. You know what I mean? She's not, hideous, but no.
It's perfect looks for the modern day.
Yeah, it's fine. They went out of their way to make her even uglier, which they didn't need to. And they did the same thing to to Scott Summers' wife. I don't know why I can't remember her name.
Jean Grey.
Jean Grey. That's yeah. They put the ugly filter on her too on the Wolverine game.
Let's see. Yeah, they did. They always do that. They always make them look like really weird for some reason.
Book sounds the same. Literary agents don't want digressions. They don't want psychological interiority. They don't.
This is also this. So I mean, I am fully prepared to believe that they kind of wanted her to take the soul out of everything, but I also know from experience that it might have been rambly. I don't know. So I wish there were like a side by side comparison, like a little snippet from like before and after.
Want long sentences. That would be useful. They don't want.
Oh wait a minute. Is this it? Oh wait, never mind. So there's like a little, I guess with the message you got back, it's worth expanding the warning about long sentences. As a student, I had read A Study of Goethe by Barker. Wait, the German? I hate it. But by the time I got to the end of the sentence, I couldn't remember the beginning.
Okay, but this feels wrong to me as well, though.
Yeah, it does. It does. So this is why I don't really know who to condemn here.
Yeah. I think they're both assholes. I use long sentences though, but I try not. I put in the effort to not use one, but sometimes, man, it just flows better.
Yeah, sometimes it does. Like if you have a poetically, it just justified if it flows like with syllables, monophones, and the poetry of it.
Yeah, no, for real.
By the time I got to the end of the sentence, I couldn't remember the beginning. I have searched the internet in vain for an extract from Farley's book, but I found a review of it. The language of the reviewer is no better.
It comes off as a robot though, like, you know what I mean? Like AI, like it comes off in disingenuous. Because I have searched the internet in vain.
Oh yeah, a little bit, yeah.
But I found a review of it. The language of the reviewer is no better.
Beep boop.
Yep.
Insane. He sees him moving with painful slowness. Oh, jeez. From a state of utterly man. Yeah, this is rough. This means nothing. Okay, this is nothing. It's just empty fluff. He sees him moving with painful slowness from a state of utterly chaotic unbalance to a more harmonious coordination of his varied, but often this is why I'm thinking that her script felt like. Now, this is not Nabokov. This is not Catcher in the Rye. All right, this is nothing.
Who is your favorite literature devil? Who's like just not even the book, but like their style, writing style?
Let's see. That's a good question.
It's an impossible question. I couldn't answer it.
I do like Neil Gaiman's a lot, actually. The way he
That
writes
makes
things, it's very poetic. The way he writes things. I might always like the story altogether, but I do like the way his words flow. But I kind of modeled my mentality after Hemingway. That more like only use what you need as opposed to trying to expound on things. So more minimalist style. But even then, you sometimes have to go a little bit longer. Sometimes.
Yeah, I see that.
Let's see.
I feel like there's some middle ground between the chopper style rap writing and the overly long sentence. You know what I mean? There has to be some middle there.
Yeah. Well, yes, this is because it's kind of why a lot of Mary Sue's come from a lot of women usually. Like it's usually typically women who write the Mary Sue's, and part of the Mary Sue aesthetic is the purple prose, where they have paragraph after paragraph after paragraph of like their hair, because they will write about how awesome the hair is and how delicate their features are, because the Mary Sue is awesome and perfect. You got to know about it, and it's called purple prose. So
I can't.
I think that's kind of why. She was rambling. I don't know.
I can't think of
by the way.
I can't think of a single writer that spent pages on describing a door.
Isn't that's a famous one, right?
Yeah. I think people like him too. He's like, oh, it's the Lord of this, and the King returns to here, or whatever.
King of something.
Yeah.
And see, but yeah. So like, man, this is tough. This is nothing. You can use. No wonder you don't remember the beginning of the sentence, because this is nothing. So if the guy is getting that reaction, like getting that natural response to the sentence after he read it, she might have been rambling like this, because utterly chaotic unbalance to a more harmonious coordination of his varied but often conflicting powers. What?
Wait, isn't chaotic and unbalanced? That's. I guess it's not exactly the same thing, but
we also want to cut out. Basically, one of the things I learned is that you want to cut out every word, if possible, that ends in ly. So I mean, if you
that literally sounds impossibly.
Impossibly.
Yeah, I couldn't think of another one.
It's not necessarily like a deal killer, I guess, because Rowling does this a lot. But like everything has to be. Oh, he said disrespectfully. Oh my, he said surprisingly. So there's a lot. He sees him moving with painful slowness from a state of utterly chaotic unbalance to a more harmonious blah 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 individuality to the community. This is nothing. This is nothing. It is some academic talking to me. Got it? The sentence has 38 words. You need to concentrate too hard to get to this. I don't even know what this says. It's far better to break into 2 or 3 sentences and use words that mean something. All right. This means nothing. This is a fluff. This is a sentence that means nothing. I don't know what the hell you just said. He sees him moving with a painful slowness. Period. That's where you end your sentence. All right. That would work a lot better.
Yeah, that's why I actually took a break as I was reading in my head. I naturally took a pause there.
And the rest of it is like from a state of utterly chaotic unbalance to a more harmonious coordination of his okay. So painful slowness from a state of utterly chaotic unbalance. Okay. And to the responsible adjustment of his own individuality to the community. Yeah, just you know what? Just cut the rest of that. It's just the sentence should be: he sees him moving with a painful slowness. Done. We're finished.
Yeah, there has to be a way to do something with chaotic imbalance, and then you're also talking about conflicting powers and blah blah blah. Well, if it's chaotic and you have powers, they're going to be conflicting, right? That's because you're unbalanced. It's the same as I wish there was a way that we could shorten the idea of the more money you bring in, the more money you earn, the more problems you are the more problems you are going to have to take on. If there was a way to shorten that, you know what I mean? I think more people would understand the meaning.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, after the painful slowness, after that part, it kind of all that section just implies the rest of this. Right?
Davinia's on her game today.
The Tory is big.
Yeah. Well, because more money, more problems. That was the joke.
We just need. He sees him moving with painful slowness. That would solve everything. It would give you everything you needed. So this is kind of why I'm thinking that maybe she was rambling. So I can't really necessarily fault the editor and condemn them outright without seeing what she sent them. So maybe it is like she cut out. I know this is not hers; it's someone else's work, but maybe it is like in her work she cut out the rest of this crap and went down to what we need instead of all of this utter fat, this horrible sludge of a sentence. So because there's a reason why they're mentioning it, right? Like, got it. The sentence has 38 words. You need to concentrate too hard to get the sense. It's far better to break into 2 or 3 sentences. Heck, it's far better to break this into freaking one sentence. That's it. The government.uk blog has announced that the maximum word count for sentences there's a maximum word count for sentences. Okay. And the article is of now 20. I looked this up too when I was doing dialogue for comics, and they recommend that a word balloon in its entirety contain like 25 words. So like at most. So it is a practice, like writing dialogue in a comic book is a practice of trying to be as concise as possible, because the more you write, the more dialogue you write, the less art you're going to see. And so anyway,
anything that causes the reader to think for more than 2 milliseconds. And
okay.
By the way, real quick, I don't know if you've noticed, Chad, but at first I was like, well, I mean, on the second one, I was like, maybe we should say something. And then I'm like, oh, no, this is a thing that's been happening over and over and over again. We shouldn't pay him any attention whatsoever.
What has happened?
Oh, and it's better if you don't know, you don't know. But if you know, you know.
If this video has something snappy and succinct, I'd have more cherry to offer. And see.
As a result, you see an entire generation of novels with minimalist sentences and soulless aesthetics. And the other problem is that because publishing professionals only read contemporary novels, they don't even register that there's a whole different way of writing that has existed for thousands and thousands of years that is not this one watered down MFA aesthetic. So their perception is that any type of writing that doesn't adhere to this MFA minimalism is just bad writing. And other writers going through MFA programs don't realize this either, because MFA programs only teach other MFA books. So the problem then becomes that an entire rich literary tradition has been substituted for one narrow soulless aesthetic.
I want her to keep her eyelids
writing stripped of
more
all
closed.
embellishment and digressions. But I don't think that's even necessarily their fault. Our society has told us that writing from an NYU MFA grad is the be-all and end-all of great literature. So can you blame a bunch of MFA students who actually prefer AI writing to human writing? The sort of writing you're being taught is soulless robotic writing. No wonder they think ChatGPT writes better than actual humans. New York publishing has lost its soul. But it's
I mean, the whole academic writing, they don't really publish. They say it's awesome, but it's not. All right, their whole thing is. Then someone tried this out, where how foreign or how African does your name sound? Does your name sound really African? You said your name sound really trans or something like that. How African do you sound with your name? And if you sound the answer is really African sounding, you're gonna get published.
Mad Tumbo.
That's someone did an experiment where they just entered nonsense. It's like a bunch of scribbles and like this, let their cat type out a poem, but because their name was like really foreign sounding or minority sounding, they got published anyway.
Yeah, it was a white guy too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a white guy. He was just lying about his name. I think he got published. I think he got almost got some awards or something. Yeah, that's kind of where academia is. It doesn't really matter about how good you are at writing. It matters how foreign and how dark your skin is, or how trans you are.
Not because of profit or the capitalist machine. It is because we as a
As Emily Burger says, she has a point, but ignores the publishing as a biz. I think it's like everyone's at fault here. It's like I'm not absolving either party at this point.
I know everyone's black pilled on the modern, writing industry or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that if you look back, the books that we remember are the ones that stood the test of time. Now there was a lot of shit that was written,
right?
Yeah,
right.
one, yes, that's an entirely different point. Yeah, because that was, but if you look at it, it's surrounded by a bunch of nonsense, a bunch of bullshit, right?
Yeah.
But we remember the ones that stood out because they were great. I don't think we'll have as many now as we did then that stood the test of time. It's kind of like movies. If you compare 1995 to 2015 or 2025, it's bananas how many fucking hit after hit after hit. The how many hits there were in 1995 compared to what we're getting now. I think it's going to be a similar thing, right? We won't have as many, but there will still be a few gems that make it.
Oh yeah, easily, pretty sure. It's but right now, because of how terrible the publishing industry is, you're going to find stuff in the indies. I'm pretty sure. I think Dungeon Crawler Carl was an indie before it hit big. And see, Ghost says, "Hey LD, what's the name of that jingle for the guest? What's Gucci My Ninjas?" I'll look it up. I think Mad made it.
Wait, what?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, that was me, bro. You got to check out my channel, man. I got great intros over there for everything I do.
It's called Mad's New Channel.
It is called Mad's New Channel.
Have become unmoored from the long-standing tradition of literary study. We like fast-paced gimmicks over slow scenes and introspection. We no longer trust books that require patience.
Well, you have to. Matt's gone. What happened? Well, you have to earn introspection. You kind of have to give us something to invest in, and then you can have your introspection. There has to be a reason why introspection happened. But welcome back, man.
Yeah, I put my mouse down to type in the chat. It flipped over and just exited everything, closed down everything.
That's happened to me before. But you have to earn introspection. I feel like she just wants to write a story where you introspect. That's about it. Like Catcher in the Rye, Library of Nabokov, that sort of thing. So kind of feels like, and maybe that's kind of what the story ended up being. That's why the guy had to say, "Hey, we need some conflict in here. Could you add some story to your story? That'd be nice." That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like.
And
This
that is
isn't a
why
book.
no one.
This is your receipt from the grocery store.
Yeah, but my name is my name is Ifume. Oh, okay. Well, I will publish it.
Contemporary literary fiction, because this sort of fiction is not written for a general audience who actually wants to sit down and think about their lives, because that is the fundamental purpose of literature. This sort of literature is written for an MFA audience where the perception is that if you can use as few words as possible to deliver your message, you have become an accomplished writer. And that
Yes, that's usually the case. Yeah, if you can concisely put across your thought or message, yeah, it's as concise as possible. That's kind of the power of a master. I mean, Hemingway had this where they asked him to like write, I don't know, like 100 words. It's like very small number of words in a week. He's like, no, can't do that. Need a month to write 20 words.
That's by the way, that's a great pause. It's like, I know my voice is horrible. Wink.
Wink. But Hemingway's like, I need a month to write 20 words. Okay, I can do 10,000 words in a week. You know, that sort of thing.
That's not necessarily true. Every writer before Hemingway will tell you that literature is digressive, that it goes deep into the human soul. And some scenes that might not seem very relevant are actually doing a lot of psychological work, because real literature isn't about tidy sentences. It's about messy phrases that explore the inner depth of the human soul. And
not necessarily. I don't think so. It's I never thought about it like that. Like it's not necessarily about messy sentences. That's kind of like poetry. It's more like artsy fartsy stuff, where they're publishing it to the in favor of the editor, I suppose. They're supposed to be publishing polished works. That's the idea, not messy scrawlings in a diary, right? It's supposed to be publishing polished works. So they're going to ask for concise language. Now they could be at fault by saying we want you to do one style of writing, but typically the baseline is like, okay, we want you to have some conflict here. We want you to, have some story here. We want you to cut out the fluff. make it make the sentence feel needed without all the empty, meaningless words attached
And
to it.
what's great though is that there's plenty of room for you to get your writing, like your work, out there to people without having to go through a publisher that's going to have all those restrictions or want you to change all of that. If you really believe in your work, you can. There are ways for you to put it out there and it be found.
Absolutely, especially nowadays, it's way easier now.
Contrary to popular belief, the masses actually like books that cause us to think. After all,
The masses don't
us
read
is
books.
on a quest to find meaning in our own.
They don't.
They don't even listen to books. They've made it so easy to where all you have to do is just play it in your phone while you're stuck in traffic, and they won't even do that. They're like, nah, I'm gonna listen
play
to.
that, OSHA thing where it's like democracy is the will of the people, but the people are retarded.
Yeah, the people are retarded.
Yeah. For me, it takes I gotta listen. If I'm gonna do Audible, it's gonna take me a couple times listening to a book to really absorb it. Yeah. Versus when I read it,
and you get the whole thing like right away.
because I'll be playing Xbox or something while I'm listening to it, and I'll kind of zone out for a little bit.
Then you come back like, wait, what happened?
Yep.
I need my gay monster fetish novel in audiobook format. I don't want to read it. I want to play it in the car when I'm driving to the grocery store.
Wouldn't it just be war? Because they're monsters. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like that Chad, the Chad at the typewriter thing. He walked into the room noirly or whatever.
he billionaired into the room handsomely.
Yeah, exactly. And there's just like fire erupting and sparks erupting from the typewriter.
Exactly. Let's see.
One of the best ways to find that meaning. That is precisely why we need real literature back on our shelves. Literature with messy protagonists and literature that causes us to think about the human soul rather than books with
Here's the
sterile
other thing.
sentences. that-
Nobody's writing literature anymore. There is no literature. What are we talking about? Like, there hasn't been a great novel released in like what, 50 years maybe?
Well, that we
40?
know of, though. That's the important thing, right? Because they're pushing an entirely different type, right? I feel like there may be one out there, but it never got that heat.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've never. You would think that it would pop up somewhere. You'd think that there would be some great American novel, but I don't know. Everybody's just like, what's the great American novel? And everybody just keeps coming up with like Cormac McCarthy books.
Well, I mean, look at
Blood Meridian.
But look at me though. I'm the YouTuber's YouTuber, right? But I just don't have the same, exposure or popularity as others that are complete garbage. I'm not going to name any names, Mr. Beast and others.
It's the world's fault, is what you're saying.
No, it's because people oftentimes will look at popularity versus the talent or quality, right? They're like, when they're going through YouTube videos, they're like, well, this one has 1 million views. It has to be better than this other one.
Well, that's the thing is like, is there a YouTube video that's as good as like Lawrence of Arabia or whatever?
Everything I've ever done.
That's what I'm excluding. You're not really a YouTuber.
Oh,
you're
sorry, you're right.
Master of the craft.
Yeah, you're master of the craft.
We're talking about YouTube.
Got it.
Let's see. American Psycho. Raising Those are pretty good.
But that's not like a great American novel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What is it? Average American Male by what's that guy's name? I don't remember. That's like the American Psycho for the 2008 crowd. But even when you look at it like that, that's like 20, 30 years ago. In the last 10 years, I haven't heard anybody like make an amazing novel. Most of the people that are good writers are doing like franchise stories. Like there's a lot of good 40K books, but even then that's like 20 years ago. So I don't know what people are talking about. I think most of the written word now is supported by pulp, which is a good and a bad thing. I mean, there could be I look at it like what Frank Herbert did and his in the Dune world. In the future, it's after computers are no longer necessary. They have mentats which can calculate more than computers can, and those are just people that are genetically engineered and then trained to do that. So maybe in the future, the written word will come back to being valuable, and people's sense of propriety and what they do with their time will come back around to, I want to spend time doing quality stuff. But we're in the slop era, and we're surrounded by people that are lowest common denominator people that are just trying to work a job, entertain themselves, and escape. It's not really like they're pulling up Spengler or something, or reading Camus or Heidegger or something. That's a very niche community of people, and there aren't really anybody making stories or even nonfiction books that are on that level anymore.
Wait, did you say Camus?
Yeah. We have to face absurdity.
Oh, Camus. Albert Camus?
Yeah, the French. I don't speak French.
Oh no, I'm a big. I love. I love. I don't read. The Stranger is probably one of the handful of fiction that I don't read a lot of fiction at all. You know, like I'm currently rereading The Courage to Be by Paul Tillich.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's like what I was saying. It's like there isn't like a Kafka of our generation. You know, there isn't. There should be, but there just isn't.
Let's see.
Completely embrace nihilism. The reason that contemporary fiction today feels so lifeless is not because readers no longer want literature. It is because the publishing industry has turned its back to real literature and lost touch with the very facets that make us human. If we want to bring
I don't know, because the what you put forward was just an editor saying, hey, we gotta trim down this horrendous crap. And the example was not that great because in her favor, because the example was a terrible sentence that needed some pruning. So I would need a little bit more, like a little bit more, where it's like, okay, here's an egregious example of this thing that was good, but they said no, don't do it. Something that's clearly a stylistic and artistic choice, as opposed to we need to cut out this sentence. It's awful garbage. You can have a longer sentence that has meaning in it, but that one that we saw, it did not. It's just a bunch of fluff. And it's because you use a lot of like weird words like that, like the utterly chaotic contrast of his life or something like that, of his powers. It's meaningless. That's like 101. That's like beginner writer, amateur writer hour is using that kind of wording, because the real wording is supposed to be using has to have weight and meaning and tangibility to it. This is kind of why people, the typical suggestion is to cut adverbs and stuff like that. So like he said billionairely, like you don't really want to add that in there. Not unless it's really, really, really important.
I think Nietzsche spoke of this. No, he didn't. Have you read him? No. Have you? No.
No.
Based.
Do you mean Nietzsche?
Yeah.
Was it?
I couldn't help it.
Nietzsche.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it from Monty Python or something? I remember.
No, that's just a meme.
Had that. No,
it's like a Chad meme of two Chads, and they're both.
Have you read him? No. Based.
Yeah. It's like this is the other thing, is that like I'm sure that in the literary world there are places where people actually pay attention to this stuff, but I also feel like it's so sparingly put out there that I don't have casual conversations with people about any of this stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about Julius Evola in public with somebody about anything. It's mostly, hey, did you catch the game last night, or have you seen this TV show?
Did you mean Julius Olay?
Yes.
That's my last one. That's 3. I'm done. Rule of 3.
Rule of 3. The last novel I bought was 2 months ago, called Neuromancer. It's kind of the baseline for cyberpunk fiction. It was originally released in 1984. There is no mainstream big. I do know about Neuromancer. It is a big one of the major ones. That's kind of it's kind of suggested alongside a bunch of Philip K. Dick stuff. Usually, it's one of the big ones. Let's see here.
Literature back to our shelves. We need to write books that ask fundamental questions about what makes us human, rather than books that just contain tropes and gimmicks. So if you want to join,
that is true, but what I've seen is like just you weren't. It's like they cut that out of your book. It's like we cut out a bunch of weird words.
Me in the fight of bringing great literature back to our shelves. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe.
And it has the same theming of the other one, you know. There's this desire for there to be a community that's around this stuff, and it doesn't exist anymore. And it's just because of the low rent aspect of society these days.
Do you think maybe women are just waiting on us to build the next community for them to invade?
Yeah, I think that's usually how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but it's also just that there is no community in general that is interested in this stuff, except for online niche areas.
Niche. Let's see here.
But I refuse to pronounce things that go against the phonetics of my American. I refuse
I
to
always
use
think-
like spell turkey with that weird umlau and all that stuff. I'm not.
Oh yeah, no,
It's
skip
turkey
that
to
shit.
me.
I don't know how to do that on my phone.
Fix your
world needs to
shitty
le-
language.
The world needs to learn to comply with America. It is the
Yeah.
only correct avenue of the only correct standard. I would say.
Stop with your aluminium. That's
Yeah.
dumb.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's aluminum. Let's see. But here we go, chat. Here's a video about what happened to girly villains. Let girly pop villains be girly pop villains.
Also, real quick, while we're yelling at Europeans and those foreigners, get with the Fahrenheit. Stop with this Celsius bullshit.
Yeah, get along with America.
Yeah.
All right.
We need all of our temperature gauges to be in Kelvin. That'll make sense.
Along with everyone's religion to be in Calvin.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Someone is explaining why Regina George wasn't that bad. And it's not just Regina, but characters like her. Glamorous, feminine, stylish women who rule their worlds through manipulation, charisma, and being endlessly quotable. I can understand why this is happening because reevaluating media is a lot of fun. Like seeing 13 going on 30 from the perspective of Wendy is deranged. Imagine you're about to get married, and out of nowhere, your fiance is obsessed with a girl he didn't talk to since middle school. Or realizing that Austin Ames is one of the worst rom-com love interests. He not only willingly dated an openly mean girl, and didn't have the guts to break up with her, so he emotionally cheated instead. But the social media-based need to
Sorry, I came in halfway through her talking. I know it's going to make me sound like a misogynist, but for whatever reason, I zoned out immediately when I heard her voice. But then I cut back in on Austin, whatever his name is, emotionally cheating on her.
I think that's a real thing. I'm pretty sure it's a real thing.
Yeah,
even
it's claimed to be.
Yeah.
sanitize female villains because they're fun to watch and have qualities we admire misses the point. Villains are compelling because, unlike the hero, they don't.
There's what's it called? Veronica Sawyer. It's from the Heathers. The Heathers.
Need to be.
I can't wait to hear her boil down. Why villains are appealing to just one simple thing. Rather, maybe people have various reasons to why they may find them appealing. Yeah, just can't wait.
There's different elements. Check it out.
Moral righteousness. They get to be selfish, cruel, dramatic, and charming without apologizing for it. And when women characters occupy that space, the internet rushes to explain why they were never really the villain to begin with. I'm not seeing the.
That is true. Yeah, they always come to do because they're this really powerful without apology. They are like feminist icons. It's kind of why they all love Medusa. This monster.
Well, when it gets bad is when they start doing it within the story itself. With I don't know, I'll pick something random. So the Scarlet Witch, right? They're all the people that's been under her mind control. They're begging for her to let them go or to kill them. And then you have Monica Rambeau show up and say, they'll never know what you did for them. You're such a hero.
You never know what you sacrificed.
Yes. Like, what the fuck? They were begging for, there's dead babies in cribs, you monster.
Like, what are you doing? No, what sacrifice? What did you sacrifice exactly?
Her time?
Nothing. Yeah, it's nothing.
Angelic rebrand of glamorous women characters. They were written to be sharp, manipulative, and unforgettable, and that's exactly why they work. You are more than welcome.
Usually they come to the fence with like, just because she's a powerful, strong woman and without apology does not mean she's a villain. Okay, people demonize women for being strong, and society is so misogynistic. That's usually how it goes, I think.
To agree or disagree as to why I think we should let girly pop villains be girly pop villains.
I have no problem with it. Who's trying to stop it?
There are a few reasons why the
feminists hate that. They want all these like women, these villainous women to be the heroes, or at least not declared to be villains, because they see themselves in them, and they are evil themselves, and like, oh, this person is evil like me.
Well,
it'd be really good if she's not seen as a villain.
I think we established a long time ago the one way that's true. If your mom is killed by Dalmatians, then
you are justified.
Yep, you are justified in being a villain.
Do whatever you want. Yeah.
Girly villain wasn't the villain carries a host of problems, and one of them is that it excuses bad behavior. Some people in the Mean Girls fandom love protecting Regina George while vilifying Janice Ian, when the point is that Janice and Regina are two sides of the same coin. Janice was mean to Katie and was a fake friend. She refuses to pronounce her name correctly and uses her as a tool for her middle school revenge. Regina, at first, seems more polite. A little bit. But every
And see Wolfsbane to the $5 super chat.
Yes.
And see Wolfsbane is $5 super chat. Says, just love how she only mentioned about how a man cheating on his betrothed, but doesn't mention a woman doing the same. A Notebook. Well, that's how it is in a lot of these movies made for women, is that if a man cheats, oh, that's evil. But if a woman cheats, that's romantic.
Yeah, or she was driven to that, or she just made a mistake. It happens. Why is he such an asshole and won't forgive me?
And it's a mistake, or it's actually his fault, or something.
Yeah.
That's how the movies made for women romanticize cheating. However, in the movies made for women, if a guy cheats, oh, he's like the most evil guy, unforgivable person who's ever lived.
The best is when the chick will cheat on the guy, and then it will be revealed that he had some type of affair, thereby justifying it, even though she had no clue. You know what I mean?
And this is real. I mean, we watched women go over this, like women who have enjoyed these movies when they were younger, and they look back and go, "What the hell? Is this all about how cheating is awesome?" So, let's see. Shay Durags says Azula is the most evil sociopathic character in Avatar. This is true. Actually, a victim, and everything bad she did is her family's fault. Yeah, that's the argument to defend Azula, is that actually she's a victim and everything is her family's fault. All that stuff that she did, like she taking over Bossing, saying everything.
Bro, I made it 5 minutes into the second one. I'm like, I get it. Never went back.
Let's see. I see these fighter trends as a mean. Yeah, but I've seen that defense. Look, Azula was evil. You can still like her. I like her. I think she's a really cool character, but she was evil. And there's no excuse. It's like she didn't really all these excuses as to, oh, well, her dad was abusive. No, he wasn't. He supported her in every facet of her life. He supported her. He was I guess he's a disciplinarian to her. It's like, okay, you got to do better than this, but you're awesome. So
I thought we were talking about Medusa from Little Mermaid. So in my head, I'm like, yeah, but her mom was killed by dolphins. I was trying to make a
killed by dolphins.
Yeah,
that's not what happened.
You don't know. Wait till the prequel comes out.
But yeah, Azula was evil, and it was her actions were her fault. Now you can still have sympathy for her at the end because of how crazy she is and her villainous breakdown. But there's no like they want to blame Ozai for everything. And what's really funny is that they try to blame all the Fire Lords for all the bad stuff. What was it? What was it? It was, I think, it was a Legend of Korra comic. They brought up the topic of Sozin. And this is the guy that committed genocide. This is the guy who committed genocide, right? But because it's Legend of Korra, you know what the real reason he was a bad guy was?
What?
He was homophobic.
Oh no!
And
the worst of them all.
He banned same-sex marriage. That's why he was evil, all right? That's why, a genocide or two. Who hasn't done that? But being homophobic, that's unforgivable. Can't do that. That's just
right. It's a. I used to do this joke about how Thriller was such an amazing album that will cool with 2 kids, but that's the limit for Michael. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Any more than that, then they're going to start counting.
Insane.
So I guess in their world, like genocide, 1, 2 races, that's fine.
That's fine, yeah.
But don't you come after the gays?
I get it. It does trend because they did the same thing with Kylo Ren and the Star Wars sequels, where he helped the First Order commit, I would think, several genocides. He blew up like several planets, but he was still redeemable. Still wanted to be redeemed so he could be with Rey. That's fine. So genocide is okay, I guess, as long as it's not homophobic.
You know what's worse than that is Reva. Reva spent years tracking down younglings and freezing them in some jelly. The whole time, just I'm gonna get Darth Vader for killing all of my friends. Meanwhile, I'm cutting down all these kids. You know what I mean? Like,
And she was so prominent. They made her so prominent. They made her so prominent. I was like, is she from her own show? Like, no, she's from Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, she was like, oh, I saw more of her than I did of Obi-Wan.
Yes.
Let's see. Alex Halix 5 says, meanwhile, Fate series Medusa is hot and feels bad about killing people, while her Gorgon form wants to kill all humanity. Well, that makes sense.
Damn, her Gorgon form. I hate it when my Gorgon form gets loose.
Because, Ovid is supposed to, he kind of gave her that backstory or popularized the backstory of her being, a sympathetic person. And he did it because it made it for better drama. But people took that and made her a feminist icon because she was violated by Poseidon and punished by Athena. But that only happened because Ovid was writing Athena, and Ovid tends to make Athena a bitch for some reason. Because it's really strange that Athena would unjustly punish someone for that, considering she is the heart and soul of the Oristaya and the creation of the legal system of Greece.
You're a little underwater.
Oh man. Hold on.
Yeah. Hey, Glib, how you doing, buddy?
Good.
I'm back.
Just checking.
All right, I'm back. So, that sound better? Or am I not here at all?
No, you're. I got you.
Did I ever exist at all? But
did any of us?
That's the question. But that's that. So yeah, with Ovid writing Medusa, he added on that backstory, and then had her punished by Athena for whatever reason, because Ovid makes Athena a bitch, which contrasts with her portrayal in the Oristaya a lot, because I think Ovid also did the Arachne story, where Athena is also a bitch. But anyway. And see, Shay Durek says, women's expertise is sympathy. It's what makes them great moms. This is true. It's actually proven to be true by science. They, by and large, are emotionally motivated. So when they can relate to someone's feelings, justification becomes very easy. This is very true. They kind of had like an experiment where they would, I think, put someone in pain, and men would enjoy it if the guy was evil. If they've told that the person being put through their paces was a bad person. But women would have the same level of empathy for a innocent person that they would have for a guilty person. Anyway.
Very nice gesture is a strategy and a mind game. That bracelet skirt thing she did is so close to life. I heard some people describe Regina as being nice in the beginning because she let Katie sit with her. But aside from passive aggression, her niceness is to monitor her and a strategy to not be outshined.
She's
Janice
doing that
uses
thing.
resentment as a weapon.
She's doing that thing where kind of it's subtle. It's more subtle than usual, but at the end, she kind of gets, you can have a little inflection.
Oh yeah, a little
when
bit.
She ends her just a little bit.
While Regina uses power. She has a good idea on how to use social dynamics for her benefit, and if anyone gets hurt in the process, then that's not her problem. No one talks about this, but she made up a Planned Parenthood thing because some randy dude didn't call her friend back. Planned Parenthood girl never got brought up again. I hope she's okay. It comes to show that if you're popular and charming enough, you can get away with so much. Regina...
That goes for men too.
Okay, but not to the same degree. There's no hot guy that's gonna sing karaoke horribly, and all the girls are like, "Oh, you're so good, you sing like an angel." You put a half decent chick on the mic, guys would just be glazing. You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh, you sound so great." That's why that's why so many of them, when they're first faced with like rejection or any time, especially with cops, right? They always act so surprised that they can't just get away with shit, as if it's never happened to them before.
What?
Because it hasn't.
Let's see. But yeah, so one of the interesting experiments they did with a mean girl archetype was, I think, the High School Musical Sharpay. Was it Sharpay? Where they actually made her, I think, a main character in her own movie. I think so. And Matt Pat even went over this, where so if you want to have the main character be the mean girl, you can. It has to be a different circumstance. Right, you have to go deeper into the character. She's not a good person or redeemable person just because she is unapologetically evil. It's not really how it works.
Is a well-written and iconic villain because her cruelty is casual, strategic, and socially rewarded, not because she's secretly misunderstood. And I say this with sincerity. Can the dark femininity girls please stop gloating over her? Her strategy's lost in the end. Remember that. Similarly
What
to
the
how
fuck?
Janice Ian keeps getting pointed
I guess they all lose.
as the real villain, Andy's friends and boyfriends in The Devil Wears Prada have been getting it in the past few years. They've
Oh,
been
they've been good.
reevaluated as unsupportive and jealous of Andy's success. They need to get how big of a deal this job is, and Andy just needs to grind on a job that doesn't pay great. And she doesn't even get to write. This interpretation of The Devil Wears
I've never
Prada
even seen this movie. I
really
don't have
irks
anything
me
to add to
because the
Devil
story
Wears Prada.
emphasizes that
I know it was a big deal when it came out,
right?
the environment in Runway has countless red flags. On her first day at work, she's not allowed to ask questions, gets random rude comments about her body, and gets calmly
she's brand new. What
Copied
was
this,
he
actually.
expecting?
I think they copied this quite a bit for the Quella movie, where it's like it's again about there's some evil fashion mogul that she has to defeat.
What? Mrs. Prada's mom was killed by Dalmatians
Dalmatians
well?
as well.
Yeah, I have no idea about this movie.
I
don't
think
know
it's
who's who.
like Dobermans actually.
Oh no, those are
No, wait,
those are
those-
scary,
oh,
bro.
wait,
Whenever
no,
they pop
wait,
up in movies, you know the kid's possessed. You know?
Wait, it was poodles.
Oh, okay.
Miniature poodles.
yelled at because she thinks two identical belts look the same. Her job also doesn't leave the office
Wait, hold on. Was that Skylar from Breaking Bad? Kind of looked like her. Oh no, I don't think so.
the same. Her job also doesn't leave the office. She has to make impossible
Kind of very similar, strong jawline.
requests during her time off.
Do
Andy
you-
had to see Chicago.
Here's the thing. Do you think maybe the reason why they're having her do so much and push her so far to see if she can handle it?
Because she's new. Yeah, because she's new and
Right?
she can handle the high stress situation of the fashion industry.
Yeah. So they actually they make the situation be very stressful. You know what I mean? Because it's so that they can be ready for when it really is, or so they can see if they could actually handle something that is high stress. I don't know, man. I don't see any issue with this. Sorry.
Thinking about a thunderstorm in Florida. This is not a way to live. And yes, her friends happily accepted gifts from her job. You could say they were hypocrites, but to be fair,
Entourage.
this was when Andy
It is the same thing in Cruella, where they made her like clean toilets and stuff like that, and that was like treated as incredibly cruel and unusual. That she had to do a man's job, like clean toilets.
still had a
Wait,
social life. The
Wait,
comments
it's
Andy
kind of
made-
like what Steven Seagal talked about. What's it, Steven Seagal? Where he went to this sensei and he had to wait out from like in front, and he would treat him like a dog or something until he learned a lesson or whatever. I'm pretty sure it may have been Steven Seagal.
Kind
But
of
yeah, the whole
than Steven Seagal would say.
yeah. Well, you know, he's one of the 7 reincarnated Dalai Lamas, isn't he?
Steven Seagal, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's true and completely accurate. Yeah,
man, we used to be a proper
About the-
countryman when he was our star.
double standards of male and female bosses has some truth to it. But in this context, it comes across that she's saying that to excuse Miranda's actions. The point isn't that Runway and Miranda taught Andy how to be ambitious. It changed her for the worse. At first, when she was glued
Did it?
to her phone, following demands, she was becoming another Emily. And near the end, she almost became another Miranda. She literally said,
Highly
everyone
successful?
wants to be us. And I think she smiled at the end, not because she secretly rooted for Andy, but because she saw her escape from the fashion trenches. Miranda knew exactly what she was doing, which is why she is the undeniable villain of the story. A
What?
fabulous one, but still a villain. Which brings me to my next point. Claiming female villains as not the true villains removes their agency. Suddenly,
True.
they're not cruel because they choose to.
Yes, this is what we
Finally, yeah.
This is what happened with the Azula discussion earlier. They do remove her agency because it's not her fault. It's her family's fault. It's Ozai's fault. It's her brother's fault for not being there. It's her mother's fault for abandoning her. Like, no, your choices are yours, no matter what circumstance. This is why being a good person is so valuable. It's so admirable because if you could go through all this hell and be a good person at the end, boom, you're good. This is why Zuko was redeemable because he chose to. He started off as evil or an antagonist, we'll say, and then he got better. And despite all the hell he was put through, he decided to stand up against to his father and do the right thing anyway, which is why he was admirable and eventually redeemable.
be, they're victims of circumstance. Catherine Mertil has been claimed as a victim of patriarchy, when she's quite misogynistic herself.
It's kind of funny that Barbie brought this up at the end of the movie, where it's like, yeah, some people blame things like patriarchy or whatever, but it's not. It's really your fault. Okay.
Man, Shady's was really bothered by this. Whoever this person is in Avatar.
Let's see. Shady Rex says, what kills me about Azula is that Avatar is explicitly about the decision of the kids and how they need to be responsible for it. Yeah, the main source of efforts the main source of the trajectory of a character arc in Avatar's Airbender was Aang, going from being a kid to growing up essentially and becoming the Avatar, mentally, emotionally, maturing into something.
Bro, I just realized that y'all are talking about the anime bullshit. I'm over here thinking of fucking James Cameron's Avatar.
Oh,
this whole fucking time. I saw the second.
David Avatar, yeah. No one watches those movies. Let's see.
That's weird. I'm sorry, real quick. I thought everybody agreed that M. Night Shyamalan did a pretty good job though with the movie. Is that true?
Yeah, universally beloved M. Night Shyamalan.
Shady must just be one of those 1%, the minority group that didn't like the movie.
Didn't like that. Just the strange, odd people who didn't like the M. Night Shyamalan movie. Yeah, so it's a little loud. Let's see. Guys, it says LD, they only care about agency when it's positive for the character. Yes, they only care about agency if they do good stuff, like if their choices work out, or if it's a man. If it's a man, he always has agency, no matter what. Even if it's not his fault, like in Invincible, where it's like he's a hero and he's fighting bad guys and putting his life on the line, right? But then he gets blamed for not going to the stupid soup kitchen with Amber. That's totally his fault because he chose to be a hero and save lives as opposed to go to the stupid soup kitchen. The mean girl trope is very interesting. I always found it very interesting because it's like it's a traditional villain trope in a teen drama or something like that. But also you have to know that they're underneath all that, they're actual humans. And I think that's what's so interesting about Sharpay from High School Musical is that they kind of made her. She was the mean girl archetype, but they made her more human eventually.
I saw how to make a killing maybe a couple of weeks ago. I don't. Oh, okay, yeah, I remember the one you're talking about the chick. The movie was all right. It was fine.
I haven't seen that one yet.
It's okay.
Pretty good.
Some viewers got really distracted by her speech of, God forbid I exude confidence and enjoy schmecks. It was taken as this big call out on sexism, but the way I see it, I think she's frustrated that she has to cultivate an image of wholesomeness to manipulate others, mostly other young women. While
Wait,
she
I'm sorry.
judges Annette and Cecile.
Real quick, did she say that she hated doing this? Because I'm pretty sure the only way she would get wet is after manipulating someone to this degree. You know what I mean? I think that was her driving motivation.
It's really funny because it's kind of like this. I love having this power to manipulate people, but I hate having to do things to get it. Why can't people just obey me? Let's see.
For being less experienced than her, she still orchestrates their awakening so they can be labeled as corrupt. And Sebastian is undoubtedly a villain too. He plays up the reformed bad boy thing, which is a trope I can't disagree more with. And the double standards between them are very.
Okay, you can't conflate the idea that the actor is playing the bad boy type with the character playing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think he was genuine in the it's been a long time since I've seen the movie, but in his turn to good boy or whatever you want to call it.
Let's see. Odon says once Sharpay was getting some BBC and pastries on the regular, she mellowed out. What?
Who named their kid Sharpay after the dog? Who's Sharpay?
It's the character from High School Musical.
What the fuck?
But acknowledging that doesn't make Catherine a victim. Also, you can't tell me she doesn't have fun being evil. She literally talks like a Shakespearean villain. Another character that has gotten the she was the victim thing was Meredith Blake from The Parent Trap. And before I say anything, yes, I agree that the parents were the main villains of the story. Separating twins at birth and never mentioning it again is unhinged behavior. Meredith had nothing to do
That's
with
why you
that.
have
Nick
to.
lied to her.
It's usually the mother was like the neurotic one, right? The mother was the one that kind of put that on. The dad was just doing his best, I think. The mother, I think I've seen both Parent Traps. Usually the mother was the one that said, no, I'm done with all this. I never want to see him again. I'm keeping this whole thing secret. And see, Palestiana, thanks for the $5 super chat. Thank you, much appreciated. My mom knew Mean Girl women in real life and hated them. Yeah, it's kind of like the Joker conundrum, right? Is you love the Joker, you kind of love seeing him do what he does and be crazy, but you probably wouldn't want to go to dinner with him.
No, I'm pretty sure we've all met mean girl women in real life. You've met women.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, it's kind of one of those things. They're fun to watch and kind of interesting to ponder on, like what could be more to the character.
Yeah, miserable to date.
Yeah, you didn't really want to be their friends or date them or go to dinner with them.
But she wasn't an innocent bystander. Meredith wanting a marriage with financial stability isn't the issue. The problem is how she goes about it. She's not a motherly type. She hates things that crawl, which is fine, but she attaches herself to a guy that has, as far as she knew, one kid, and plans to push her out of the picture. And starting beef with said kid, as well as telling her to get over it, isn't not that bad. Neither is getting
She's
a bell
too gummy
for
to be
Chesty,
that
treating her like
conceited.
a Victorian servant. Meredith has been framed as being vilified for being a working woman, except Elizabeth, the mom, is a business owner. I don't see the story punishing Meredith for having a career, but criticizing her for willing to fracture an already broken family to secure a lifestyle. Even the twins' extreme behavior towards her, yes, the lake incident.
I think the fiance character is there for the money. I think she's there for more of the money as opposed to loving the dad. I'm pretty sure that was the case.
It's wild. Doesn't make Meredith a victim, so much as it shows how Nick was the wrong guy for her. They get engaged in what feels like.
Hold on. Just because she's an asshole to them doesn't mean, I don't know if she was physically harmed or assaulted at any point, but let's pretend that they did some prank and she got hit by something, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't nullify her victimness, her victimhood
She
from
was
being
still
assaulted,
a victim of a
or
prank,
kidnapped and left on. Did they even know she could swim before they left her out there?
And what if she
passed
died?
out on the water?
No,
it's okay. We murdered her because she was really mean.
What if she was stabbed by Jason?
Case dismissed.
What if Jason Voorhees was in there? Yeah, you never know.
Bro, he called me the other day bragging about how he's made it onto that Dead Till Daylight or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, that's a good gig.
Yeah. He was like, bro, I finally made it. These assholes finally put me in the game. I'm fucking Michael up.
Which is pretty good. It's a pretty good achievement for a conservative these days.
Right. But he's like, yeah, I'm going after Michael. Blah blah blah. I'm like, bro, I don't think have you played the game? You think no? I've been busy at camp. I mean, there's a whole thing. Anyways, we can go on.
Michael Myers is more like a nihilist. Jason Voorhees, staunch conservative. Absolutely,
very. Yeah.
5 days, so maybe
Friend
she
of the
did
channel.
like the vineyard income just a little bit more than the man himself. A little bit. He's not exactly innocent there either. But it's the Napa Valley. She doesn't need to bulldoze her way into messy family dynamics to get a dude with money. She chose that route. And her decisions
she was
is
in
what
love.
makes her an antagonist. Social expectations do influence characters' actions, but those pressures do not negate choice. Sharpay Evans chose to pursue a guy
Sure she is.
who was taken, and she embarrassed herself. But she learned from her mistakes and got over him for her own movie. I have noticed that the type of female characters that the internet loves to protect tend to fit a certain aesthetic. They're feminine, fashionable, and confidently so. Perhaps the biggest reason as to why people feel the need to defend them is because they have characteristics that are vilified in real life. Well, for women who are confident, feminine, socially strategic, hardworking, looks for financial stability in a relationship, or, God forbid, are high maintenance, are judged as shallow and self-centered. Defending these fictions.
Usually, if they're like that, then they usually are shallow and self-centered.
Right, just because every time I've served you this hamburger, it had shit on it, doesn't mean that now it's going to have it on there again. This is a different place.
A lot of men who do all this are sociopaths or psychopaths or some way ruthless. So yeah, even like men who do this are psycho.
Villains,
but they're cool about it.
feel like defending femininity itself. Time and time again, Stories position the girl who isn't like the other girls as morally superior to the flatly written mean girl.
Oh, there it is. Like she's not like other girls. Like the mean girl is supposed to represent traditional femininity, and like they're evil and catty. But the main character is like the rebel girl who's not like other girls, and therefore the interesting one.
Pink. The concept of femininity being shorthand for being airheaded or malicious is an entirely different conversation.
It's the traditional femininity is demonized by Hollywood.
Yeah. I'll say this: those aren't that is not the entire encapsulation of femininity, but it's on the list, though. You know,
it's on the list, yeah. But usually, like the main character in these situations, the girl, she's like rebel. Heck, what's it called? Another teen movie made fun of all of this.
I love
the
that
main
movie.
Character is like a nerd, and she's like wearing a ponytail. It doesn't have her hair down, and is completely not like other girls, and is artsy or whatever. And the mean girls are like the traditional feminine girl who's like the fashionable and charismatic and pink.
What? No, not anyone but her. She has glasses. Look at this. There's paint on her overalls.
This is where we got exactly. This is where we got the trope, which they also make fun of, like take off the glasses, let down the hair, boom, different person.
How
and
many
kiss me
hobbies
playing
and
while you walk down the
interests
stairs.
associated with femininity get social backlash and are seen as lesser than? If you dare say anything about astrology, prepare for the eye rolls. But that's where the overcorrection comes from. When we finally see a feminine villain that actually is well written and compelling, the instinct isn't to engage with her complexity, but to absolve her. The trend of protecting female villains also reinforces the idea that unless someone does something cartoonish,
I don't even think this happens to men. Like the male villains, we love Joker being evil, but I've never seen anyone saying Joker did nothing wrong. Now I have seen this in anime where they say Griffith did nothing wrong, which is absolute bullshit. And that's
I see it all the time.
And for some reason, I've seen people say Thanos did nothing wrong, which is also absolute bullshit. His gauntlet was not like the 50-50 gauntlet. His gauntlet was the Infinity Gauntlet. He could literally have done anything, and he chose to just wipe out half of all life. All right, no, the whole oddly enough, the whole thing where he wipes out half the universe to simp for death was way better of a plot line than everything sucks and
right.
People, so I'm gonna snap my fingers and wipe away half the universe because that's way better. Like, shut up, Thanos. Shut up. What you have infinite power.
It would make simp. It would make more sense if he's simping for some chick and she's actually responsible for it.
That's what happened.
She's withholding blowjobs or whatever.
Because he was in love with Death, who was a woman, and so you know what? The best way to get with Death is by wiping out half of the universe. Committing a lot of deaths.
Yeah.
That made a lot more sense than the whole I got to wipe out half the universe so that resources or whatever would happen.
You think they were worried that would make him more of an icon to the incels or what have you? Like, I would totally do that too.
Where they like that. Like when they like that, like this is how a man should be. A man should be willing to wipe out half the universe to get your love, right? That would be positive in their mind.
Oh yeah, they'd be like, get that bag, Dad.
Exactly. Right.
And then,
look at Thanos. He was like a titan of God, and he's still like simp for death. Like this is what a man should do.
Oh shit! Does death have an OF?
After that, right? It'd be like after that movie would come out. If that had been the plot line, it would have been something like even Thanos was willing to kill half the universe for his lady. What are you up to?
Oh man, yeah, he would Thanos fuck over all his bros, right? Because we're gonna have to try to live up to this. Look, I cut the vegetables the other night.
How far will your man go?
Right, I took out the trash.
Let's see. I did a little scorner. Ida's little corner. Hello to you. Welcome to the channel. Welcome. Welcome the newest member of the Legion.
Nice.
Fantastic. Awesome.
Then anyone
Oh.
can be forgiven. No. Passive aggression, sideways compliments, and constant disrespect is enough reasons to detach from someone. It's not being too sensitive or petty. It's protecting your energy. Not all characters need a wicked level evaluation. And something about this character's only did bad thing because they're hurting inside doesn't resonate with me. I just don't like the movie.
Yeah, that's a big one too. It's okay. I mean, they did something bad, but they were sad when he did it. It's kind of the Kylo Ren defense. He was sad when he did it because he had a mean dad, and his uncle tried to kill him. So all those genocides he led, water under the bridge.
The Breakfast Club, especially how it wants us
Well,
to
fuck off,
sympathize with
Megal.
behavior
God dang
it
it,
doesn't
Meg.
meaningfully hold accountable. Like, aw, poor baby.
Yeah, bad death. Those have an OF, but it's on a bare bones.
But it's really bare bones.
Bare
Fucking
bones.
Christ.
The jock traumatized some innocent nerd because he's just so pressured. One of the reasons I like Heather's is because it demonstrates that some people are mean, not out of some veneer of misunderstandings and inner torture.
Heather's is a oddly crazy storyline. It's pretty insane.
But because
Well, I don't know about the movie, but the play is.
that's how they are, that's what's celebrated, and because they don't get repercussions for their actions. It's why
Okay,
social
but both things.
cruelty happens.
We have examples of both in real life, though. There are people who are just mean because they're mean. There are also people who want others to feel what on the outside what they feel on the inside. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
both can be written well.
Yeah, pretty much anything can be written well, but they just choose not to.
Why is Heather such a mega beach? Because she can be. Villains are allowed to be villains.
Did she
Whatever
say beach
context
instead
went
of
on
bitch?
to lead them to
Beach? Yeah.
Don't be so
evil
scared.
and make their story interesting. But it doesn't
Cuss on YouTube videos now.
excuse them. Like
Oh,
Tom
all the
Ripley
time.
and Hans Gruber are entertaining and charismatic as heck. And we don't feel the need to claim them as not the true evil all along.
Yeah, see, no one says Hans Gruber did nothing wrong. I've never heard that before.
Okay, nothing. He made mistakes, sure, but I think if you look at his overall, his, hold on, I can get through this.
Yeah, no one's saying like Hans Gruber did a thing wrong and John McClane was the villain. Like no one is saying that. Like no one needs to come to his defense and say, "Oh, Hans Gruber was misunderstood." Like no one do that. Like no one does this for male villains.
I'll say this: John has too high of a body count for all of them to be good shoots. That's all I'm saying. You could probably find one.
But also, they definitely the people who do this for Azula nonstop will never ever do this for Ozai. They'll never give him any benefit of the doubt whatsoever. Despite the fact that I kind of went over like what would the story be from his perspective in terms of politics, which is kind of interesting. Like why did he do all this? Like if you want to go into a perspective of Ozai isn't evil, but he was playing the game. He was playing the political game for power and for maybe even patriotism. I don't know.
Currently in movies, there's a shyness of showing actual villains. Like they do certain stuff to protect their family.
This movie sucked. It's Ray of the Last
it.
Dragon. It's really bad. It should have been like a series, but they kind of imagine cramming all of the season 1 of the series into one movie. That's kind of what this was.
Or they're a tragic soul or whatever. But I have a feeling we'll see some pleasant changes on that front. In the near decades-long academic analysis of how women are depicted in stories, true complexity isn't found in
I'm sorry. Is her suggestion being that we should rely on academia to inform us on how we should write female?
I hope not. That sounds dumb. I don't
I'm
think that's
pretty
a good
sure
idea.
that's what she just said.
Oh, that's a good idea at all. And see, Alex
No.
Haley's Spider Trip. They much appreciate it. Yes. Alex Haley says, I did nothing wrong. Gilgamesh says, I did nothing wrong. I only wanted to press the reset button on humanity and adopt a redhead Asian stepchild that got in my way. Yeah, nothing wrong at all. Nothing wrong at all with that.
sanitizing
I was going to
female
say
villains,
the same.
but in allowing them the same moral range long afforded to men. Even if they're likable and fabulous, we don't need to claim girly pop villains as victims. That's my
Okay, real
take on
quick, okay.
allowing
That makes sense. Yeah.
Real quick. All right. Her whole thing about, the decades of research and academia about, how femininity is treated in movies, right? If we're talking about hopefully they will fix their writing, imagine me with my weebology, because I have a degree, I have my PhD in weebology. Imagine y'all letting me write your fucking manga or whatever it's called.
You
get what I'm saying?
The professor you had in college, well, he's in charge of your stories now.
Right, just think about that. No, because I'm so far removed from the actual art of it because I can study you weirdos. Now imagine that I get to take over and tell you how it should be done. That is what she is suggesting.
Probably not the best idea, I don't think.
Well, I mean, it would have been my case because I would be awesome at it. You just don't know.
But anyway, chat, we're going to go ahead and go to stream memes, stream memes. And we did make it to Pillarman today. Pillarman. So go ahead and lower your volume or raise your volume, whatever you prefer.
Where's my thing at? I can't even find the window. Hold on.
And
I got it.
Pillarman in 5, 4, 3, 2, 2.5, 1.5.
Oh, I'm good.
Go. Hey, all right. Thank you much, everyone, for generosity today. How do I sound? Do I sound muffled or underwater?
Oh, I haven't turned everything back up. Give me a second.
Back at it again.
All right, I'm good. I'm back up.
Awesome.
Yeah, you
All
sound
right.
fine.
Check it out. Here we go. Meme time. Okay, there's no need to get offensive now. What's this? Scientists growing the Neanderthal mini brains so connected to crab robots. These scientists are frantically leaving haunted voice recordings and health packs around their lab as we speak. Look, that one's writing a message in blood on the wall. That's what you have to do. Family torn between placing grandpa in hospice and having him run for Senate. I mean, it's a tough choice. It's a tough choice. This wasn't a fight scene. It was a metaphor for how hard it is to red pill some people. What is this? White Americans would become the highest fertility group in 2028 or 2029 as birth rates continue to improve. Well, that's good. Let's see. And then man 2, man 3, man origins. It's usually how it goes, yeah. One health potion, Paris. Okay, 55 gold. What? Health potions are usually cost 50 gold. Bottle deposit. Oh, yeah, this thing. Bottle deposit. You bring back, get 5 gold. That's absurd. Hey, glass bottles are not free. We have to get them all emptied to get all emptied. But that's a good idea, actually. If you're a potion seller in like a fantasy world, and like potion bottles cost money, right? So, what if you incentivize them to bring back the potion bottles?
Yo, I gotta go handle some business, guys. I'll catch you later.
Beat her ass.
Talk to you later.
See ya. I didn't know what he was talking about. I figured that would be it.
That's absurd. Hey, glasses bottles are not free. We have to get them all get all empty adventure bottles from dungeons. It's very dangerous. Last week, Crumb lost ear trying to cave bats. Yeah. Let's see. Congratulations again to Drugs for winning the war on drugs. Flint's old police academy sold for marijuana grow facility despite objections. Another victory for drugs. I am entering the war on drugs on the side of drugs. Let's see. We gave North Macedonia 750 million euros in development funds to build public infrastructure. They spent it on replica Greek temples made of concrete with white plastic cladding to look like marble. And statue of Alexander the Great pointing a sword at Greece in a flood. That's awesome. Very cool. It says money. Me stealing, bro. Absolute cinema. What's this? It's like Smiling Friends. It's like no, wait, not Smiling Friends. Whatever. In Super Mario Odyssey, Mario also sleeps with Calypso and Cersei.
Just to let you know, I added a time-sensitive meme at the very end of it.
And see, Mario is able to fall asleep off edges of platforms, appearing to float. However, in Super Mario 64, code exists that checks whether there is ground behind Mario first. Thus, in a game in 21 years older, sleeping is implemented in a more sophisticated manner. Let's see. Average moral relativism fan. Average moral objective morality enjoyer. Chad. Dum 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 dum.
Oh, y'all talking about the Mormons? You were talking about the Lego shit?
Because the Mormons, yeah. We went over
story's bananas,
the whole crazy nonsense with the Mormons and the Lego stuff.
Dude, did you see that they accidentally leaked the body footage that they were trying to keep, and then they deleted it? But before they could, people downloaded it.
Yeah,
and Josh, the CEO was like, "Can I see the paperwork?" No, bro, I can't show it to you because then you would have been served. Like, what the fuck? Oh man,
It's pretty crazy. It's a crazy case. Like, what the hell is happening? Over
it's
Lego.
insane. Yeah. Well, 200,000. I mean,
The Mormons were correct. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Here's the iconic the artist we lost yesterday. And Gilgamesh joined your party without your consent.
oh, Gilgamesh, that's Final Fantasy.
Final Fate fantasy, I think.
What's the difference?
Let's see. Here's a picture of Fate's homunculi, adding more details.
Wait, is this that fucking thing where they have the demon chicks and they're twins or whatever?
Probably. Let's see. And there's different stabs per mage. Makes sense. And there's a She-Hulk. Let's see.
Too small.
This? What is this?
Too small.
Me watching the chart. Oh yeah, the charts. Consulting the charts. This is peak. This is also peak, but in yellow. I assume because due to his costume, I assume he's talking about the American Revolution. And then your hominin and oh yeah, the Neanderthal thing, where he's like being oppressed because he's Neanderthal.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I talked to Banana Dave and he told me that he tried to message you and you ignored him, left him on red. Yeah, I'm like, good. I'm glad that he did. Fuck you, Banana Dave.
I remember that. Let's see here. What is this?
Up, up, down, down, left, right, B8.
Oh, it's Konami code.
Yeah.
Money, endless rambling. All I heard was blah 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 blah.
Man, some misogynist up in here, huh?
Mad misogynist. What is this?
Can't read it.
It's a little too small, I think. But hold on. So you. Oh, here we go.
There we go.
So you want hair extensions? Yeah, I want to surprise my husband. Super. What do you think? Fantastic.
I thought that was a boy.
I don't think it is. I hope not.
No. Yeah, it's not.
Let's see. Nap time. Perfect. Babe, wake up. Huh? Oh God, you're finally awake, babe. You've been asleep for 2 years. That's a good surprise. Because her hair grew.
Oh shit! She had to have gotten that idea from a guy, right? That's funny.
It's I want to live, banana mafia, mad. I want to live.
Legit, 80% have no idea what any of that is about. What are the bananas for?
It's like the quartering and the oranges. Like, what are the oranges?
Exactly.
Let's see. They want democracy, but the people are retarded. Knowing you at first glance, you saw a bucket of mac and cheese. Is that not a bucket of mac and cheese? It definitely can't be a bucket of yellow chains. Who makes a bunch of yellow chains? Hey, pretty girl. And it was this. I'm sorry that people are so jealous of me. Women. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. For most of its history, the Fire Nation was tolerant too. But then Fire Lord Sozin took power. He decreed that same-sex relationships were criminal. That guy was the worst. That's why he was the worst. Because this is basically what happened. I could excuse genocide, but I draw a line of homophobia. I'm a real boy.
That's why you shouldn't do elections based on how the feelings of your dick, but you should think about it.
Probably not. Let's see. Heavenly Sword. I remember this. This was
yeah, kind of.
This Heavenly Sword when it came out was advertised as like the female-led God of War. Let's see.
Yeah, like Red Sonja.
There it is. That's the one going over Sharpay. What's this? What a shame. You always had such beautiful hair. I hate you, Azula. I do. What's this? Oh, it's death. There's death that Thanos.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She's a little too thick, right? I thought she was supposed to be bones and skin and bones.
Nah, she's kind of butterface though. Let's see.
Dick is throwing that cake around, huh?
But the reason why Thanos could not attract her is because she's in love with Deadpool.
Well, yeah, because I'm sure Deadpool treated her like shit, whereas Thanos was simping all over the place.
That makes sense. Heather, why can't you just be a friend? Why are you such a mega bitch? Because I can be.
Wait. The time sensitive one. It was at the very bottom.
Oh, goodbye, everyone.
Motherfucker.
Let's see. University.
There we go. For all the haters, University of JoJo presents Matt Tismo, that's me, with a doctor in Weebology, signed by the president of Anime and me.
Yeah, see, look, it's authentic right there with a doctor.
Anything else, haters? What you got to say now? I come with receipts, dead ass.
Signed by the president of Anime.
Yep.
Let me see. All right, chat. Well, we're going to go ahead and close the stream for that. Thank you much, everyone, for joining me. Thank you much, Best Chat, for always being Best Chat. For wonderful rest of your day. See you again, of course, next time.
On a cold winter morning in the time before the light, in flames of death's eternal reign, we ride towards the fight. When the darkness has fallen down